What's going on, guys? Welcome to a Monday night live stream, the week of UFC 281, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. And I am so happy because I have just finished the last of my UFC 281 prediction videos. Tomorrow, I will be releasing Carlos Esparza versus Weili Zhang and Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. I literally just finished my prediction video for Izzy versus Pereira. I still haven't even edited it yet, but I will edit tomorrow. I have it ready to go for the most part. Just got to like cut off the beginning, cut off the end, add a couple graphics in there. I have all the graphics ready to go. Got to just edit it, render it, upload it, make a thumbnail. It will be out tomorrow evening, probably around like 6 p.m. or so. Whew. And there's a chance maybe I do like maybe another prelim or something now that I got the main ones that I wanted to get done out of the way. But I'm just so relieved, that I'm done. I did Aaron Blanchfield, Molly McCann out on the channel right now. Dominic Reyes, Ryan Spann out on the channel right now. Brad Riddell, Hanato Moyakano out on the channel. Hooker versus Puelis out on the channel. Edgar versus Gutierrez out right now. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. All those prediction videos are out on the channel. A lot of work went into those. 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, 18 minutes almost. And I think the Izzy prediction is about 20 minutes or so. The Carlos Esparza prediction is about 14 minutes, I believe. So a lot of content. I also have an entire playlist on the channel dedicated to UFC 281. I have my videos about loving and hating the fight card. You can check those out. But right on the front page of my channel, you click on my channel, you can easily find all the predictions on the main page without even having to go to videos. It's all right there under the UFC 281 playlist. And I've been stressed for like a week straight about getting these videos done because I like to do high quality videos with a bunch of decent graphics in there, tail to tape that I make myself on Photoshop, all that good stuff, quality pictures, quality thumbnails. And now I can finally be in peace. I have finished the last piece of the puzzle that is Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. So the rest of this week, I'm going to be chilling. I'm going to be doing a couple streams. I will definitely be streaming on Friday, UFC 281 pre-fight stream where we'll talk about all the predictions. I'll be live streaming on Wednesday for the weekly live chat, which at that point, all my predictions will be out. So, we can talk about them more in detail. I'll tell you this right now, though. I think my Adesanya versus Pereira prediction might shock a couple people. I think the people are going to think it's an unlikely outcome, but I'm pretty confident in my pick on this one. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You never know with MMA. But I'm really looking forward to releasing that. I think that's one of my better videos that I've done. Sometimes I finish up a video. I'm like, yeah, I really nailed every point that I wanted to talk about. So I'm looking forward to putting that out tomorrow. I wish I could have put it out tonight, but I put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put out 6 videos in the last 24 hours. So, I can't keep dropping more videos. The algorithm's going to destroy me by not recommending them. But everything's doing pretty good so far. Aaron Blanchfield, Molly McCann, over 1,000 views. Ryan Spann versus Dominic Reyes, over 1,000 views. And everything else is creeping up. But do me a favor, guys. If you have not checked those out, go check out all those prediction videos later, tomorrow, later this week. Whenever you get a chance, do me a favor and check out those videos. But on this stream, we're just going to chill, talk about whatever, talk about UFC 281. I'm sure there's probably news out that I may or may not have missed. I haven't really been paying close attention to MMA news, unless it's big news, just because I've been so focused on getting these prediction videos done. Yeah, we can talk about whatever. So throw some questions in the chat. Do me a favor, if you have not done it yet, like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it if you run up the likes on the stream. I see some of you guys already have. And we'll go for a little bit tonight. I'm not really super stressed. I don't have a prediction video to do after this. I'm kind of just chilling now. The stress is relieved for UFC 281. I am done my prediction videos for, unless I decide to do an extra one here and there, which I may or may not do. I got to look at the card. Let me actually take a look. Because there's been a couple fights where people are like, can you do this one? Can you do this one? I've done all but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 more. There's 14 fights on this card. So I've done 8. I mean, I could do Petrosky, Wellington Turman, Ottman Azaitar, Matt Frivola, Carolina Kovacevic, Silvina Gomez, Juarez, Mike Trezano, Soy Woy Choi, Julio Arce, Montel Jackson, Carlos Uberg, Nikolai. I can't even pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try. But I don't know. I don't really, it's too much to make all those graphics for all those different things, and I just don't really have the time. So I probably won't, but we'll see. Maybe I'll pick one at random and just do it. What's up, Homework? Hope you're doing well. What's up, Dabrowski? What's up, Sinister? We are here. Really enjoyed the breakdowns, Joey. Watched most of them today. Just got to catch the Reyes span. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Monday Night Football, Lurkin. Appreciate you, appreciate you. I don't even like women's MMA that much, but looking forward to Aaron versus Molly matchup. Plus, I enjoyed the prediction video you did of it. Appreciate you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought it was worthy of a full breakdown and prediction. And I feel like there's not a lot of people, like somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. There's not a lot of people that do these dedicated prediction videos for some of these lower level, not lower level fights, but less anticipated fights. I feel like a lot of people do the full card predictions where they do a minute or two on each fight. But I like doing these more dedicated videos, 10, 15-minute videos on a fight and really digging in deep on their resume, their skill set, how they win fights, and my prediction, of course. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, my friend. When is the main event prediction coming out? It will be out tomorrow evening. Love the other ones you did. Appreciate you, Karim. JJ Smoke is here. What's up? Sup, Mukhtar. Joey, one of the things people aren't talking about is, yes, Izzy was winning both fights, but Alex was a noob where Izzy was the pro. Alex took the fight on short notice and was an alcoholic still. See, I don't know, man. It's Alex Pereira. People act like Alex Pereira. Don't get me wrong. Alex Pereira is a great striker. He's an elite striker. But they're acting like he's evolved into, something crazy. I mean, he was good then. You could see that he was good then, and he's very good now. He's definitely improved. I wouldn't call him a noob by any means, okay? But we'll see. We'll see. Izzy's boob is back. I've seen one picture that kind of looks like it when he's flexing. I think that's a bit of a stretch. What's up, Constantly Growing? Then after he KO'd Izzy went to MMA and Alex continued kickboxing and became double champ and quit kickboxing like a little over a year later. That's fine. That's fine. Damn, there's one thing I forgot to mention in my prediction video. I'm really mad at myself. I'm actually really mad at myself. I meant to mention it. I thought it was a very important factor and I forgot to mention it, and I'm really pissed. Actually. What's up, Joey? Is he getting TKO'd in the third round after eating a sneaky right uppercut and being finished on the ground? Remember this statement. I will remember this statement. I'm so mad. I forgot a very intriguing factor that I meant to mention in the video that I forgot. Izzy KO, Olberg KO. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. It's right around the corner, my friend. 5 days away. Love you, Joey. Thank you. Charles is something special, man. He just can't F with Islam. That is very true. That is true, and I don't think he'll ever have the skill set to beat Islam. Maybe I'm wrong, but after watching that fight and seeing what Islam was able to do to him on the feet and then on the ground subsequently, it's just very, very unlikely I could see Charles coming back and beating Islam. But you never know. You never know. He can improve vastly, and next thing you know, he is beating Islam Makhachev. Izzy will knock Pereira out with ease. We will see. We will see. I'm very curious to see how that fight plays out. I'm curious to see how each guy approaches the fight. It's going to be very, very interesting. Yeah, Charles tapped to a hug. Dude, it was a fine submission. Come on now. Calm down. And Islam is known for having a really tight squeeze and has submitted a lot of guys. So cut him some slack, man. He didn't tap to a hug. I'm really aggravated that I forgot that one point in my prediction video. It's actually pissing me off now. And it makes me want to re-record the entire video. But I'll just put it in a comment. Alex P is good in kickboxing. Izzy's an MMA champ. He's going to make Alex P look like a fool. I can't wait. We will see. It's going to be very intriguing. Alex Pereira has that nuke of a left hand. So if he can land that left hand, he will KO him. Before Alex fought Andreas at his debut last year, I think a couple months earlier, his last kickboxing fight where he lost to the champ, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure of all. I don't know about his entire kickboxing career. I just kind of briefly went over the fights with Izzy. What's up, French fries? Hope you're doing well. What's going on? Thanks for joining us. I can't believe it's finally UFC 281 fight week. I'm really looking forward to this event. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it doesn't like not live up to the hype because I'm very excited for this fight card. I think Izzy going to come out aggressive and get him out of there early. That's the prediction. We'll see. That'd be a very interesting strategy. I think Izzy gonna read that. I don't know how I ended up reading it again that quickly. If Charles hypothetically doesn't get the belt again, but still has a good career to end things, how close does he become passing Khabib? He will never. It's going to be about title defenses, regardless of what he does. So, and the fact that he got dominated by a Khabib-style fighter as well, he's never going to pass Khabib now. Now, if he wins 2 more fights, gets a title shot against Islam Makhachev, who's still champion, and wins the belt back, he will surpass him. But we'll see. What would be your percentage that all city kickboxing fighters win at 281? That's very difficult. Uberg, Riddell, and Izzy, right? Is there another one? Uberg, Dan Hooker. I think they have a decent chance, but I mean, with anything, you never know. I'll say 50%, 50-50. Izzy will get hurt. Alex will get hurt. I just think Izzy has more tools to pull through it. We'll see. We will see, my friend. So I don't think Alex striking will be bad. He quit kickboxing full-time a year ago. Yeah, but this is MMA now. It's a vastly different sport where you mix in clinch work and takedowns as well. And there's different gloves as well. What's up, Tommy? I love Izzy fights. This is going to be fun. His last few have not been super exciting. If Islam defends against Volk, Benny, and Fiziev, does he already surpass Khabib? I would say yes. To beat Charles Oliveira, then to beat Volk, then to beat Benny, then beat Fiziev. He either surpasses him or is tied with him at that point in time, in my opinion. Which would be very interesting. How crazy would that be if Islam takes the lightweight GOAT status over Khabib? That'll be insanity. I wonder what would happen. Imagine if Fiziev just came out and brutally KO'd Islam. I wonder would they do a rematch? Like, I know that's hypothetical and that's like 2 fights away max anyway. But that'd be an interesting scenario. Like, how would Islam return off of losing the title and getting possibly an immediate rematch? I think if anyone could surpass Khabib at lightweight, it would be Islam. I agree. Khabib would have gone down and very hard to defeat as far as GOAT status, but he kind of left the sport a little bit too early, in my opinion. Well, it's not too early. I guess if it was his time, it's his time. But as far as his legacy wise, had he stayed around and beat a couple more contenders like Charles Oliveira, he would have really cemented himself as GOAT. Islam boxing fakes are top notch. He hits hard. Yes, he does. What's up, Joey? How do I stop being a soy boy? I think you got to send chump change in that case. That's the only way I know of. Lock of the card. I'm kind of getting a weird feeling from Aaron Blanchfield. I'm pretty confident Aaron Blanchfield wins. Also, Ottman Azaitar, I'm pretty confident wins as well. I'm saying, is he quit kickboxing after he lost against Alex in 2016 or 2017 to focus full-time on MMA, where Alex, he's just started basically. I don't think his striking skills will be diminished. I think Izzy's striking skills have improved. And MMA striking is a little bit different than kickboxing striking. So I think Izzy was a better striker back then. And I think technically Izzy's a better striker now as well. So we're going to find out, though. We're going to find out. I do think it's going to be primarily on the feet. So I'm really mad because there was a factor about this fight that I really want to mention, but I'll just add it in on a comment on the video when I release it, but it's just annoying. I think Bryce will get brutally slept by Topuria. I could see Topuria submitting Bryce Mitchell. People think that Topuria is some crazy like striker. He's primarily a grappler. He just, kind of fell in love with his hands when he came to the UFC. He's primarily a grappler. And I could see him like clipping Bryce Mitchell, or Bryce Mitchell going for a sloppy takedown and getting guillotined or something along those lines. But that fight's not too far away. I'm really looking forward to. That's probably my most anticipated non-title fight for the rest of the year. It's probably Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria. Izzy's more technical striker than Alex and always has been. I agree with that assessment. Did you see the rumors about Edwards versus Usman at 283? Fake or nah? That's definitely got to be fake. There's no way they're putting that on in Brazil. Absolutely no way, shape, or form that they're going to do Usman Edwards 3 in Brazil. It's just not going to happen, guys. It is just not going to happen. Okay, let me take a look at something real quick. Yeah, the Poirier Chandler video is doing very well, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. You got to watch every single one that's out on the channel after this stream, or tomorrow, or later this week. Make sure you go check them out. The only one that hasn't done particularly great yet is the Edgar versus Gutierrez. So make sure you guys go run that one up at the end of this stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Everything else is doing solid. Blanchfield McCann is almost 1,200 views. Ryan Spann, Dominic Reyes is over 1,000 views finally. Riddell Moicano is creeping up there. Hooker versus Puelles is creeping up there. Poirier Chandler's doing the best out of all of them right now. So, like the video, guys. Yeah, guys, if you have not yet, do me a favor and like the stream. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And thank you very much in advance. What's up, Benji? Hope you were doing great as well. Popping in before my morning day of work. Thank you for popping in, Kale. I greatly appreciate you. What do you think about A.K. McGee? I've never heard of A.K. McGee, but if you're talking about A.J. McKee, I think he's a very skilled fighter. I would have liked to have seen him compete in the featherweight division in the UFC. He's fighting, isn't he fighting on that like cross promotion card? I'm mad that why aren't we getting the trilogy against Pitbull? We should be getting the trilogy against Patricio Pitbull. So I find that quite annoying. And now he's moved up to lightweight, but the trilogy fight is the fight that needs to happen. Are you excited for Reyes' return or just another fight? I'm mildly excited for Reyes' return. Imagine being Justin Gaethje on the night he fought Khabib. He has to fight the scariest dude in the division, has seen in years after he lost his father coach while knowing it was his last fight. That is very true. That is very true. I'm not going to feel bad for him. He got paid, though. But yeah, imagine had Gaethje went out there and slept him. I wonder if Khabib would have still retired. I wonder if he would have still retired had he lost. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys think Khabib would have still retired if he lost to Justin Gaethje? Thoughts on Dana White saying Jan versus O'Malley could have went either way? Promotion, promotion, promotion. Horse shit, horse shit, horse shit. Joey, my favorite line from the UFC countdown was Alex said, Izzy goes out there to not lose, where I go out there to win. Do you agree with this statement? Depends what fight you're talking about, really. So, it's kind of true if you look at the Jarrett Cannonier fight. But some of the other fights Izzy's went out there to win. I wouldn't be surprised if Reyes loses. Ryan Spann is massive and has brutal KO power. I think Reyes is a much better fighter. But it wouldn't shock me either if somehow Reyes gets KO'd by Ryan Spann. That's the end of him. There's a chance at UFC 281 we're burying Dominic Reyes' corpse along with Dan Hooker's. If they both lose on this card, I think the career, at least the UFC career, is over for both of them. Yeah, I think he would have. He promised his mom it was his last regardless. Yeah, but I don't feel like he would have been able to go out on a loss. Joey, call me crazy, but I feel like this is going to be Dustin's fight to lose. I feel another replica of Justin versus Chandler fight happening here again. I don't think Dustin's going to fight that wild, especially early against Chandler. But, yeah, I mean, my prediction's out. I got Dustin via TKO. I think Dustin wins this fight. I think Chandler's just too crazy on the feet. Did you pick Reyes over Blachowicz? Yes, I did. I picked Reyes to beat Blachowicz, and Blachowicz went out there and beat the brakes off of him. Will you puke if Carlo wins at 281? Oh, don't even. Oh, my God. I will be devastated If Carla Esparza wins at 281, I am going to find out where she lives. I'm going to go to a restaurant where she eats, and I'm going to slip PEDs into her food so that way she gets popped by USADA and stripped of the title. So, I bet you guys didn't think that's where that was going. You guys thought there was probably some type of death threat coming. No, I'm just gonna sabotage her with USADA and get PEDs in her system. I really want Dan to win. Well, we'll see. I think he will win. With pause, it's Reyes' last fight. With pause, I don't know what you're saying there. What's better, the UFC, a Hooker win or a Puelli's win, or it doesn't really matter? I don't think it matters too much. If Carla wins, I'm literally going to kill myself. Don't do that, but I feel your pain. And if I can't slip the PEDs into her food, I'm going to sucker punch her. There you go. I'm going to give her the Colby Covington Jorge Masvidal treatment. No way, from what I've seen, Khabib refuses to lose in anything. Billiards, soccer, coaching. He's way too competitive to retire after a knock. Yeah, I agree. LeMay, I thought you fit in a sucker puncher. Yeah, that's what I saw that. That's hilarious. UFC always stacks these pay-per-views towards the end of the year. I wonder if it's because a lot of guys went off in the summer. And then they kind of went off for Christmas, so they kind of want to fight in November, October. I wonder if that's the reason why. I mean, if I was a fighter, I'd want to fight in like March, April, and October, November. Something like that. So I have the summer off. I have the holiday season off. UFC, okay, read that. I would love to see Chandler win by split decision after a war is my hope. I think it's going to be a wild fight. I think Chandler will find some shots, but will he be able to put him out? That is the question. If Carla loses in the first 20 seconds, Zhang versus Rose can happen again, and then Rose can win the belt in the strawweight division. I don't want to see Rose ever with that belt again. I don't ever want to see Rose with that. I'm embarrassed of her. I don't ever want to see her and Pat Barry trotting around with a UFC title ever again. I think this will be a better card than UFC 280 in my opinion. Well, I hope you're right, because 280 wasn't too bad. So I hope you're right. Spring is always dry fights. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm trying to think. I feel like usually January to March is pretty good. So there's been a couple times January has been pretty good stacked. March has been pretty good stacked before. I think next year is going to be a really good year for UFC fights. A really solid year. I mean, just off the top of my head, Khamzat Colby on the way up. Leon Usman 3 on the way up. Hopefully Jones return versus Ngannou. Maybe a Yuri versus a Magomed Ankalaev, or a Glover versus a Magomed Ankalaev. Volkanovski versus Islam versus Beneil. Izzy versus, I don't know, maybe Khamzat. Shavkat in title contention. I think 2022 was a little bit of a decline from 2021, but I think 2023 we're going to be back on the come up, and I'm really looking forward to 2023 in regards to the UFC. O'Malley versus Cheeto possibly as well. I would love to see that for a number one contender fight. Book O'Malley Cheeto 2 for a number one contender fight. Sign me up. I would love to see that. Do you think Weili Zhang versus Valentina will ever happen? No, absolutely not. It will never happen. So there's your answer. Pat Barry has to be nominated worst coach of the year for sure. Valentina would murder Weili. I agree. Too big, I think. Too big, too strong. Joe, do you have middle school wrestling? If not, would you have wrestled or trained MMA earlier in life if you could go back? I can't answer that question because I'm trying to get a fight with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in the near future. So if I answer that question, he's probably going to turn down the fight. Weili Zhang versus Valentina would be amazing. No, it would not. I think Valentina would win easily. I love Rose, but she has to pay for what she did. Put her in there versus Lemos. Sign me up for that as well. Put her in there against Marina Rodriguez as well. What do you think? Everyone made a big deal about Makhachev getting a title shot without fighting top guys, but no one seems upset about Pereira getting a shot without many ranked guys. That is awfully funny, Lil Seal. That's an astute observation. I don't know. I guess it's because they perceive the middleweight division as cleared out. But the lightweight division, I mean, it's not cleared out, but Islam was the only guy at that point in time. He tried to fight Beneil. Beneil was injured. So by default, Islam got that fight. So I don't have problems with either one. If Pat Barry, the worst coach, who is the best coach? I say Eugene with Adesanya or Javier. No idea who's the best coach. I'm not there watching him coach. I'm sorry, my friend. But yeah, I mean, Eugene and Javier are very good, seems. Do you think Limoges versus Xiaonan is the fight to make? I think there's a chance Limoges gets a title shot. If Weili Zhang dethrones Carla, I think we could get Weili versus Limoges for a title. O'Malley versus Cheetah, 5 rounds. It better be 5 rounds if it happens. How hypocritical was it for Bobby Green to call out Fiziev and Yan when freaking popped himself? It's very embarrassing, actually, and he put his foot in his mouth. I'm about to play some Ness Punch Out while listening to you. Awesome. Who do you think wins, Hamzat versus Whitaker? I think it's a competitive fight. I go Whitaker. He's just so well-rounded. Striking is really good. And I don't know if Hamzat be able to get him down to the ground. Chandler going to maul Poirier because he finished Dan Hooker faster than Poirier? No. No, absolutely not. I mean, that doesn't even add up. And MMA math doesn't work. Is it safe to say the super fight era is officially behind us now? Seems like even if you tried, the UFC couldn't make a super fight now. I'm tired of people calling fights that aren't super fights, super fights. A super fight is a champion versus a champion. And it used to be a dominant champion versus a dominant champion was a super fight. So I don't really want to call anything a super fight. Now don't get me wrong. Hold on one second. I think there's far too many people calling super fights that aren't super fights. But Volkanovski versus Islam, I would consider a super fight. Why does everyone shit on Bilal for his boring style yet praise Colby? I have no clue. Very weird. There's a lot of things like that in MMA that goes on. Because Colby doesn't have a particularly fan-friendly style either. I enjoy watching him fight, but compared to the people who are always complaining about grappling. Just curious, early prediction on O'Malley versus Cheeto. I think O'Malley's going to look good in the fight and then get finished. So I really think that's a 50-50 fight, but I'm leaning Cheeto. Just because I think he's super durable and has nasty power and just finds a way to land hard shots. And he might take that leg again, to be quite honest. The rankings haven't been updated in 2 weeks. I thought they had been. If Benny doesn't get a title shot after Volk and Islam stop messing around, I would genuinely feel bad. Yeah, I'll feel terrible if he gets skipped over by like Michael Chandler. That'll actually be a travesty. Are non-stacked fight nights helping UFC or hurting it with the common fan? I think hurting it. I think a lot of people just skip them. I mean, to be honest, if I didn't have this YouTube channel, some of these last few events I would have straight up skipped. If I had something better to do. You know? Dana said O'Malley gets a title shot next, though. Next thoughts? Who knows what's bound to happen? I don't necessarily believe that. Guys, hit the like button. It's free. Yes. Thank you, Benji. Yeah, if you guys have not liked the stream, like the stream. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel right in a second. I would greatly I'd appreciate it. I'm going to be doing these streams all week. My main event and co-main event prediction are coming out tomorrow, so you don't want to miss those. If Volk beats Islam, who do you favor in Volk versus Fiziev? That'd be interesting. I'd probably take Fiziev. I'm very high on Fiziev. Could Gilbert Burns beat Islam if he went down to 55 for a title run? I think that fight would be very interesting. But Gilbert is kind of even chinny at welterweight, and he got KO'd at lightweight by Dan Hooker. I'll say no, but it'd be very, very interesting. I just don't think Gilbert Burns' chin is made for it. He'd get clipped with a big shot. But if Islam went up to 70, I'd favor Gilbert. Is Piotr in a tough spot? He really shouldn't be. I think he's one fight away from title contention still. Agreed. Imagine if Khabib ever fought Usman for the strap. That would have been another awesome super fight. Agreed, 100%. That'd been crazy. That'd have been straight up crazy. Imagine that matchup. Would have been a lot of fun. Is Volk the GOAT of the featherweight division? Yes. 3 wins over Holloway. Undefeated at featherweight, I believe, in the UFC. So, for sure. Brazilian hype with Dern Rodriguez Oliveira is done now. That is very true. I can be honest, I skipped the last 2. I'm already new into the sport, and if not a name that's familiar, I just kind of ignore it. It's a bad habit, but just how it is. Now, if I had something better to do for the Yan Xiaonan Dern card, or even Marina Lemos card, I'd have skipped them. Like, if it really came down to it. It's just not a card that nobody's going anywhere. It's not like outside of the main event, there's not a lot of high-level fights, maybe the co-main. And you can always watch those back. So I just feel like when you watch those cards, you're just like going through the paces and you're like, I got to watch it to keep up with this sport. And I really wish they would stop doing it. Who is the most overlooked fighter at welterweight? I'll say Shavkat. Hardcores know him, but not a lot of people talk about him too much. Volk is underrated. I'm betting 250 he lasts longer than 2 rounds, so hopefully he secures my bag. Thoughts on my bet? I think you had a 50-50 chance at collecting. Who wins, Hamzat or Rachmanov? Right now I lean Hamzat, but it's hard to pick that fight. That's a fight I really want to see badly. If Gilbert lands the shot he did against Usman and Hamzat, I see Islam getting KO'd. Very true. Could happen. I feel like Islam would have trouble with Burns' strength in the takedowns, whereas Charles wasn't strong enough. Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely be interesting. And also you have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu of Burns as well. He's very good off his back. But I just worry about Burns being kind of chinny down there. You know, he's getting dropped with jabs at welterweight. He got KO'd by Dan Hooker. So why are people considering Hamzat versus Usman a super fight? People misuse the word super fight all the time. Betting against wrestlers is always scary. Yeah, I feel like I tend to pick the wrestlers. You know, I should have took my own advice. I said I'd pick Khabib over Charles. Then why shouldn't I pick Islam over Charles? I just thought Khabib was much better than Islam. So that's why. That was basically my reasoning why. But looking back, I should have picked Islam. I just thought Oliveira would have the chances on the feet, and I thought he'd be much better on the feet. But instead, he initiated the grappling. Betting, were you a Strikeforce fan? I watched a decent amount of Strikeforce. I'll never forget Tyron Woodley getting brutally KO'd by Nate Marquardt. I watched a couple of Rousey's fights. I watched a couple of Luke Rockhold's fights. I think the bet, because Volk is better than Charles defensively. Yeah, but he's smaller as well, so it's going to be interesting. I'd rather see small rosters and less cards. Yeah, I get it. Everyone has their own taste. I hate when people are just like, I just want a card. I don't feel right without a card. I'd rather have a decent card or no card. So I'm with you on that one. Strikeforce produced Luke Rockhold in DC. Jorge Masvidal as well. Gilbert Melendez, who was almost a champion. Yoel Romero came from Strikeforce, I believe. How would you rank these biggest problem to least problem? Reffing, judges, PEDs, fouls. Judges is the worst. I'll say PEDs is the second. And then reffing and fouls I consider one thing. So there you go. I'm just tired of the bad judging. Yeah, I agree his chin is suspect, but I don't see Burns as a contender at 170 right now. We have a couple guys ahead of him. An alternative fight for Burns at 170 should be Bilal in Brazil. I would like to see him versus Bilal. Bilal deserves a big fight. But I don't know if Gilbert can ever make it back down to lightweight, to be quite honest. I recently watched Chandler versus Alvarez for the first time after you recommended it live. Crazy first round. Craziest first round I've ever seen. I told you, dude. It was nuts. It was absolutely insane. And what's crazy about the second fight, Eddie Alvarez's contract was kind of on the line. He had had a big legal dispute with Bellator. And basically they were holding up his career for years. And he agreed to fight Chandler, and win or lose, he was going to be allowed to leave the organization. So going into that fight, it was basically Eddie Alvarez versus Bjorn Rebany, the president of Bellator. And I remember I was rooting for Eddie Alvarez so hard. I remember jumping up and down. It was a very close fight. It was a crazy fight. I got to go back and rewatch those as well. But I'm glad you took my recommendation. Those fights were insanity. It's crazy how many fights people haven't seen. Yeah, so would you rather have a card every other week or with legit talent, bro? My nose is itching terribly right now. Yes, I would rather have less cards if it meant we got better cards. 2 cards a month I'd be okay with. We got better cards. Izzy starts his antics again, calls 281 to be a horror show, then we shouldn't complain if it's a snooze fest, says Izzy, who slept watching Rose Carla 2. I mean, who didn't sleep watching Rose Carla 2? DP or Chandler, I got DP, too good with the hands, good defense and IQ, finish him in the second. I have a full breakdown and prediction of this fight on the channel, but I agree with you. I am going with Dustin Poirier as well for many of the same reasons as you just articulated. I think his striking's better. I think his fight IQ's better, and I think Chandler will not use the wrestling. Joey, your reaction to Jan versus O'Malley is legendary. I've seen it like 10 times, and every time I LOL. So you're just going back and watching it? I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, my friend. I thought it was pretty funny. I posted it on my Instagram. I thought it was pretty funny as well. Was the best female fight this year the one we all watched a month ago on ONE FC? It was wild back and forth. Maybe. I don't know. I can't think of another one, so I'll say yes. That was a crazy fight. Vicente's in it. That's a butchering of the spelling of Vicente. Goat. You should be banned for that. Is in a tough spot. French made a point in the Discord. Dude beat no one in the top 10. You know what's crazy? I read this on Twitter. I didn't fact check it, but it sounded right. You know Paulo Costa doesn't have a win over someone currently on the UFC roster? Supposedly. Which is crazy. I never fact check it. I never fact checked it. But I think it sounds true to me. Let's take a look. Let's fact check it now as we go. He doesn't. Nope. He doesn't have a single win over someone on the UFC roster. That's crazy. Unless Ulunwel Bambuze is still on the roster, Paulo Costa does not have a single win over someone currently on the UFC roster. That is accurate. That is crazy. That is insane. That is wild. That is nuts. I cannot believe that. I mean, seriously, Paulo Costa, not a single win against someone on the UFC roster. I mean, dude, Paulo has a terrible resume. Now that you look at it, Johnny Hendricks, washed up Johnny Hendricks, Uriah Hall, Yo Romero, and that was a great fight. Close fight. I actually thought Yo Romero won that fight. And then Luke Rockhold. So, straight up insanity. Were you ever a Joseph Benavidez fan? Yes, I was. I remember they did a little tournament for the first flyweight title. For the first flyweight title, they did a tournament. It was like Demetrius, Ian McCall, Benavidez. I can't remember who Benavidez fought. Let me take a look. Joseph Benavidez. Who did he fight? He fought maybe Jussier Formiga, I think. Or no, I can't remember. Who did he fight here in the tournament? I don't remember what year it was. Flyweight debut. Oh, it's just, I can't even pronounce his name. And then he fought Demetrius Johnson for the flyweight title and lost. That was a tournament final. So, and Demetrius, I remember he had a draw with Ian McCall at some point. And they announced it wrong. They announced it as a win. And then they rematched it. And then he won, and then he fought Benavidez. That was weird, because what happened is there was a tournament, right? This is a fun fact for people who haven't been fans for this long. They had a tournament for the first flyweight title, the inaugural first flyweight title. And what happened was the rules were if you had a draw after 3 rounds, they would do a sudden death 4th round. Well, what happened is they messed up the Ian McCall Demetrius Mighty Mouse decision when they read it. And they read it as a win for Demetrius, I believe. But Bruce Buffer or somebody messed up with the scorecards, and it was actually a draw. So I think Demetrius left thinking he won, and they figured out like 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, that was a draw, but it was already too late. They couldn't do a fourth round. They had already taken off their gloves and everything. They were out of the cage. They were gone. They were long backstage. They were getting medicals, blah, blah, blah. And so then they had to wait and run that fight back. And then Demetrius won, and then he moved on to fight Benavidez in the finals for the title. It's crazy Benavidez has never held a UFC title. That is wild. Okay, where were we at? If Usman versus Edwards and Khamzat versus Colby happens, how happy would you be to see the winners both fight each other and the losers too? I'd love Leon Colby and Khamzat Usman in the after the card. 100% sign me up. That sounds like a beautiful idea, and I think those are the fights to make. There are still some people who haven't seen Lawler versus McDonald too, and it doesn't sit right with me. That was an amazing fight. It's one of my favorite fights of all time. Do you think Poirier is still one of the top 5 lightweights in the world? Yes, I do. I think momentum is very critical in the UFC, so who has more momentum, Chandler or Poirier? I mean, technically, Chandler's coming off a win, Poirier's coming off a loss, but I don't know. I don't know, really. I guess Chandler, just based on that. Is Bo Nickel right in his assessment that wrestlers fall in love with striking and kind of forget their primary skill? I mean, in some cases. I don't know if that's all cases. I cannot wait for Usman versus Patricky. Can't believe I'm this hyped for a Bellator fight. Yeah, that's only in 10 days. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I believe, right? I think it's November 18th. That's correct. Costa's a great value. Romero. Nah, Costa's much different than Romero. Don't let John Jones fight in Las Vegas. He'll probably end up getting arrested beforehand, right? Paulo got the secret juice. That he does. That he does. Covington had a pretty bad resume, too. Doesn't have a win over currently ranked opponent other than Masvidal. That is very true, and his best performances are losses to Kamaru Usman, which people consistently elevate him not against. I would choose Romero over Costa any day. I thought Romero won the fight. That's crazy because Costa is one of the only fighters to start with 4 KOs in his first 4 UFC fights. Next current best is Yuri at 3 out of 3. That is an interesting stat. Paulo could lose every fight and I would still love him. Makes sense. Izzy broke Costa. He hasn't fought the same since. Even Rockhold hadn't hurt several times. Or it could have been a step up in competition. I mean, massive step up in competition. You're bound to not look as good as fighting Johnny Hendricks, the shell of Johnny Hendricks. But it's interesting. I wonder how Paulo Costa looks against a guy like Robert Whittaker. I'm very curious to see how he looks against Robert Whittaker, and I hope that fight comes to fruition, guys. I really hope that fight comes to fruition. But you never know. It's been booked before and it never happened. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens finally. I'm looking forward to it, and I really do hope it happens. Joey, did you pick Costa over Izzy? Unfortunately, I did. I talk about that in my prediction video for this fight. Izzy broke. Okay, read that. What's up, Sam? Hope you're doing well. I know it's an unpopular opinion among UFC fans, but I would love to see them have some Grand Prix. I know it would be impossible these days. It would never work out. Everyone gets injured, so it would never end up working out. When Pereira wins, I'll be there. Oh, you're going to be at the event? Is that what you're saying? Alex, Dana has expressed interest in maybe doing something similar recently. Dana has expressed interest in maybe doing something similar recently. Oh, you're talking about the Grand Prix? No, they're never going to do it. Seems like you go live daily. I have to say I appreciate the hustle. Thank you. I try to. I try to go often as often as I can. Damn, it's crazy Dustin P hasn't fought since the Olives loss, and Olives fought twice after, unless Dustin was dealing with an injury. That is crazy. I think Dustin was looking for a fight for a while, and the UFC was kind of shelving him a little bit. I remember he was kind of complaining he wanted to fight over the summer, and Chandler didn't want to fight later in the year, and then it ended up coming to this. Do we agree that Poirier sort of gave Oliveira the win by rolling into the guard during the glove grab? There really wasn't a glove grab. That was manipulation by Joe Rogan and DC. But no, that's not even where he got finished. He got finished on the feet, basically. You know, Oliveira ducked a punch, got his back, standing rear naked choke. Had nothing to do with the roll. Had nothing to do with glove grab, which didn't exist actually. So is Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov 170 or 185? I'd really like to see Chimaev him settle their beef in the octagon eventually. We will see. We'll never see the Dagestanis fight. Khabib versus Chimaev would have been amazing. They've already settled their beef, so it's not going to happen. But I think he's 185 off the top of my head, but I'm not sure. Adesanya has returned, so it should be a good fight. We'll see. Thoughts on Mark Hunt knocking out a pro boxer, younger, bigger, and faster than him. So proud to be an MMA fan. I don't know. I just seen the highlights. I don't know much about the guy he beat, so it's hard to say. You know, but Mark Hunt has always been a likable guy with a lot of power, so I'm happy for him. Usman is a bit overrated. His last 4 title defenses were Burns, Masvidal, 1 on short notice, 2 Covington, hasn't won against its current top 5. I mean, come on now. He was beating Leon Edwards. He got KO'd in the last second, kind of a fluky KO. He looked good against Romero. He gave everybody problems, and he was extremely competitive. He has been trigger shy and hasn't engaged in the same manner since the KO'd. Yeah, it seems that way. Dustin was begging for the Nate corpse. Oh, yeah, I do remember that now. He wanted Nate's corpse. Who would win, Colby versus Bilal? I have a biased opinion, so I'm going with Bilal, but it'd be a close fight in my opinion. I think it'd be close. I would... Honestly, after seeing Bilal's hands in the last fight, I lean Bilal. Patty Mills says he's lurking. Appreciate you lurking. Joey, hear me out. Imagine the UFC did women's title fights as the main event of prelims instead of therefore, if it's boring, the main card ends up having 5 action fights. This makes way more sense. No, because they like to put a fight that draws to the prelims. But either way, it is what it is. DP rolling in the guard made him get smashed by elbows there for the rest of the second round, and then he was completely tired going into the third. Okay, fair enough. But either way, there wasn't a glove grab. What's up, Joey? I made sure to drop a like on the stream. Do you think City Kickboxing will go undefeated on Saturday? I'll say no, but they could. They could. I like their chances. I think they have a decent chance. Apparently, Shane Burgos is out due to an injury. I know. I am so happy. I did not want to see Marlon Moraes get savagely KO'd again. I did not want to see that at all. Poirier's sauce versus Chandler is good goddamn main event himself. Reading that gave me a brain aneurysm, but I mean, it's the people's main event, I guess. I guess it's the people's main event. Besides Islam, Chandler had the most success against Oliveira. He was the closest to finishing him. Yes, he was. In recent history, yes. I would lean Colby versus Bilal. His gas tank would be way too much for Bilal. Yeah, but Bilal's hands have looked so much improved. Colby's hands are terrible. The grappling maybe cancels each other out. It'd be very interesting. Hi, Joey. What's up, Thomas? Did you see Alex Pereira's sister? Yes, I did. It looked crazy. I could not believe it. We'll see what she does, if she ever comes to MMA or not. Or no, that was MMA, wasn't it? Or was it kickboxing? I don't know. I just saw the highlights. Thank you, NKS, for the $2 super chat. College fun chump change. College fun chump change from a soy boy. Thank you, NKS. I greatly appreciate your chump change super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's going towards my new computer. Thank you, and college, in the college fund too. Plus, Usman hit Colby with some nice shots on the feet, so Bilal striking would be a huge problem for Colby. Yeah, I would have picked Colby before Bilal's performance against Sean Brady, but after that performance, I'm leaning Bilal. Shame on PFL for signing Marlon. You could sneeze in front of him and he's going to go to sleep. Dude, the chin is so bad. The chin is so bad. I mean, Marlon Moraes is still a highly skilled fighter. But the chin, I mean, oh my, it's so bad. I thought the Shane Burgos matchup was horrific, honestly. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. Who wanted to see that? And they're putting it on pay-per-view. Who's buying that? If you're one of the 3 people buying that pay-per-view, let me know. Plus, Usman hit some... Okay, read that. Colby's hands aren't terrible, but he lacks power. In my opinion, he has decent boxing skills. Completely disagree with you. I think his boxing is terrible. I think the reason he lands at volume is because people are worried about the takedowns. So if you're not worried about the takedown against Colby, his striking is just god-awful. When was the last time a dominant champ fought a dominant champ? I don't know. Has it ever happened really since I've been a fan? I don't know. Maybe BJ Penn versus GSP, but I wasn't really a fan then, so I don't remember where they were at in their careers at that point. But I mean, even Conor versus Eddie wasn't a dominant champ versus a dominant champ. Neither guy had a title defense. DC versus Stipe, maybe, probably. Sean Brady versus Colby, who wins? I take Colby all day after seeing that last performance. Cejudo versus Aljo predictions. I would go Henry Cejudo all day. I would go Henry Cejudo all day. I think he has the better striking, and Aljo's not going to out-grapple him. I'm air out, okay? Prime TJ versus Aljo prediction. I go TJ all day, Prime TJ. EPO TJ, definitely going with him. Joey, who do you think wins between Islam and Gilbert Burns at 170? At 170, I lean Gilbert Burns. At 155, I lean Islam. It'd be very interesting, though. Colby's just wasting his prime years if he hasn't wasted them already. I think he has. All right, let's make things interesting. Who do you think will be champion at each male weight class at the end of 2023 and why? I'll comment my answer after hearing yours. Dude, that's a way too intricate question. But I will make a video at the end of this year predicting every champion for every weight class at the end of the year. For the end of 2023. I'll make the video in the beginning of 2023. My video for 2022 was not very good. I'll have to go back and check it. But I did a video at the beginning of 2022 who will be champions at the end of 2023. And they haven't been the greatest. They have not been the greatest at all. But right now, off the top of my head, I can't. That's too in-depth question. I have to really think about that one. FYI, Khabib said he might come back, compete BS after retiring and forcing Dustin Conor or not for the title. End up costing Dustin the belt. DP would have beat Conor for the title in January 2021. Khabib didn't do anything. Khabib said he's not coming back. From the day he retired, he never once said he was coming back. Did you watch last Saturday's fight night, and what was your favorite fight of the night? Yes, I did. Favorite fight of the night? I don't know. I have no clue. What was my favorite fight? There was none that were particularly excellent. So it's probably one of the good finishes. Why is this not coming up? Let's take a look. I'll say my favorite fight was... I mean, it wasn't a crazy fight, but I liked the Tagir submission over Nate Maness. That was pretty crazy. Yan versus Izzy was a dominant champ versus champ. Nah, Yan had just won the belt. He had never even defended the belt. That was his first title defense. Have you heard the Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, Bangkok Ready story? I feel like I have, but it's been a long time, so I don't really remember it. Is Khabib like the only dude to turn down a McGregor fight that big? I mean, did he really turn it down? They were talking about doing McGregor versus Khabib. The reason they kept the belt on Khabib when Dustin versus McGregor happened is because the UFC wanted McGregor to beat Dustin, and then they were hoping to make Khabib versus Conor 2. After Dustin was to lose to Conor at 257. It was Dana who constantly put out there that Khabib was not retired. Khabib made his intentions clear in the octagon in Abu Dhabi. Agreed. And he never walked him back. He never walked him back either. Joey, what would a light heavyweight Khabib be? Being 6'3" and big, would he beat light heavyweight John Jones? No. I think John Jones' wrestling is far too good for that. But it'd be very interesting. Are you a little less positive on Brady being a title holder after the Bilal fight? I never thought Brady was going to be a title holder, to be honest. So, I don't think he'll ever be a title holder after watching that fight. But you never know. Guys make career resurgence. So, it's possible. It's possible. Do you think bantamweight has surpassed lightweight? I think bantamweight's been the better division for a while. Bantamweight is stacked from top to bottom with incredible talent, even outside the top 15. But lightweight is a very close second. I mean, lightweight, it's debatable. You could make the argument that lightweight's better. I mean, guys like Guram Kutaladze, Yoel Alvarez, just hanging outside the top 15. Terrence McKinney. There's crazy talent in both divisions. Do you think if Jones hadn't vacated, he would have savagely beaten Glover again? Yes. Yeah, and I was there live for that first fight. I was there watching the John Jones elbow wrenches against the cage. To be fair, after his win with Cerrone, Dana was like Conor versus Khabib 2 makes sense. It's probably next, so Khabib wanted it. I feel like he could have gotten it that right. Okay. But that's not what happened. Conor sat out for, what, a year after that? Until he finally fought Dustin? And who I think in that same year, Khabib beat Dustin. So Dustin, wasn't Dustin coming off a loss going into the second Conor fight? If I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he fought Dan Hooker. I think he fought Dan Hooker after Khabib, right? Yeah, he fought Dan Hooker, got a win, and then fought Conor again. There you go. There you go. The Cowboy versus Conor fight was such a joke. I agree 100%. Nobody wanted to see that. He said, show me something special and I'll come back. Yeah, but this was getting warped. And Dana had it advertised on ESPN as the meeting. Dude, Dana said that. I never heard that come from Khabib's lips. I don't believe a word that Dana says regarding that. I don't believe that Khabib stalled so Conor didn't win the belt. He said he retired in the cage, and he never once publicly stated he wanted to come back. Dana was trying to promote Dustin versus Conor 2 as a bigger fight than it was. And you know what's crazy about Conor taking that Cowboy fight? He had the option to take Justin Gaethje instead. John Jones is a piece of shit, but that man can fight the gods in one-on-one MMA combat. Yep. I would never say anybody beats John Jones until I see it. I've seen that guy in trouble, and I've seen him dominate, and he always came out on top. And he always fights to the perceived level of his competition. Like, if you think he's going to lose, he comes out and looks better than ever. Like, people thought, oh, DC's the guy to beat him. He dominated DC. And then they did a rematch, and he KO'd DC. So, and then he had the rematch with Gustafsson, where people say, oh, Gustafsson beat him the first time. Dominated him. It's the fights against people who they say, oh, this guy doesn't really have a shot, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, he doesn't deserve it. Dominic Reyes doesn't deserve it. Thiago Santos doesn't deserve it. Anthony Smith doesn't deserve it. And then they ended up being more competitive than they should be. Because I don't think he takes it super seriously. I think he thinks, oh, this is a gimme. This is an easy win. Blah, 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 blah. So when Dana says a fighter turned down a fight, you immediately doubt him? I don't immediately doubt him. I actually don't believe it whatsoever. As a fan, how are you expected to buy into the hype when the UFC promotes fights directly in the cage and they all never end up happening? Bisping versus Joel, Brock versus DC, Islam versus Volk. Well, Islam versus Volk is probably going to happen. But I don't know. The in the cage antics do nothing for me. I think the DC Brock shit was the corniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. And they did Stipe dirty because he deserved an immediate rematch anyway. And then Derek Lewis ended up getting a title shot. So the in the cage shit is some WWE off-brand shit in my opinion. John Jones' earlier resume is overrated though. Belfort, Machida, etc., older generation and middleweights. No, dude, they were amazing fighters at the time. It's not overrated at all. They were all elite of the elite at the time he beat them. Like, Jones gave performance against Reyes because he seemed bored then. By the way, I see Reyes getting a lot of flack, but only people he lost to are champs. Agreed. I think Jones underestimated Reyes, and I think that's why the fight was so competitive. There is a debate going around on whether boxing or BJJ is more effective in a street fight, when in reality, the most effective thing to do is run. Some people don't get the ramifications of a fight. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Depends how fast you are. But that's a weird debate to have. I mean, if you know BJJ and you get somebody down who doesn't know BJJ, they're screwed. Did you see the post where Islam was like he might face the winner of Chandler Poirier since the UFC doesn't like him fighting Volk? I think a lot of this shit is just certain things getting like misconstrued. I think the Volk versus Islam happens. I'm pretty confident Volk versus Islam Makhachev will happen. We'll see though. You never know. You never know with the UFC. Anything is bound to happen. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably announce it in mid-December, late December. Who knows? They might announce it at the next pay-per-view for all we know. Let's take a look, see. MMA is greater than boxing, my opinion, for sure. Did you see that? Okay, read that. Chances of Conor getting a title shot if Charles won. I think it was possible. Now I think they're thinking, oh, do we give him to Islam? I mean, Conor versus Islam is a poor man's Khabib versus Conor too. So I think there's a chance they give Conor an easily winnable fight and then they book Islam versus Conor, which would be massive. Yeah, that's usually the argument for BJJ in a street fight, but there's always possibility of weapons at play. Agreed. I think the best effect of a street fight is just not get into a street fight. Who would you rather Islam face instead of Volkanovski? I'd rather see him versus Beneil, to be honest. They almost always announce big fights on the main card, so we should start getting some big fights announced this Saturday. I feel like we've been saying that for the last 3 pay-per-views, and it's never come to fruition. Hey, Joey, what got you in MMA? What sealed me as an MMA fan was seeing Anderson Silva come back against Chael Sonnen in UFC 117, lost the entire fight, and then gets a submission in the 5th round. Was insanity. Salam, brother. What's going on, my friend? What's up, D Mastar? Conor versus Gaethje would be insane. Someone going to sleep. I want to see that fight. I want to see Conor versus Chandler as well. I know you think Yuri is going to win versus Glover. And I say Glover wins, but can we agree whoever wins is likely going to cop a beating and shorten their career? I don't know. I don't know for certain. I think Yuri might come out a little bit more reserved in this fight. And maybe get a quick finish. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, though. You never know. That first fight was just so incredible. There's no way it's as crazy as that one. Right? There's no way. Yeah, fighting without regulation is never worth it. Hardly a winner. Yeah, I mean, what's the point anyway? Even if you do win, next thing you know, you're going to jail for giving some guy brain damage, or killing him. So what's the point? Unless you have to defend yourself, it's not really worth it. Could Burns have made it as a lightweight? Dude, you butchered that spelling. That hurt my head reading that. Probably not. I don't know, though. It seemed like the diminishing returns were really affecting him. But maybe. Khabib every time. No disrespect to X-Fighter, but he is crap. Yeah, I guess so. The media is just constantly asking him for his opinion, though. It's annoying. Usman versus Yuri prediction. Yuri would brutalize Usman. Come on now. Most champs usually fight every 4 months. Now it's typical every 6 to 7 months. Yeah, probably. It seems like that way. Usually twice a year. Maybe 3 times. Shout out to Izzy, though, for staying active, by the way. Did Tagir deserve a 50K bonus on that finish? Yes. Did he not get one? Justin needs to stop ducking Fiziev. It's been way too long. Booked that fight already. Fiziev versus Justin is the fight to make. Why are we not getting Rafael Fiziev, Justin Gaethje? That is the fight to make, in my opinion. So, for whatever reason, it's not happening. But I really do believe that's the fight to make. And I'm dying to see that matchup. You know how much fun that would be while it lasted? But Justin Gaethje says, I don't want to be a stepping stone. I don't want to be a stepping stone. Well, then win. Then beat him. So, imagine they book Conor versus Rafael Fiziev. Sign me up for that. Sign me up. Someone book that. Rafael Fiziev versus Conor. Winner can get a title shot. For all I care. Imagine they book Conor versus Beneil for a title shot. Khabib and Olives had laid out the game plan to beat Gaethje. Man, no BJJ. Yeah, he has no BJJ. I'm going to tell you, Joey, Bigfoot Silva's not going to have a good next phase of his life. I don't know if he's going to make it to the next phase, dude. It's really unfortunate. The fact that promoters, family, agents are just allowing Bigfoot Silva just get repetitively KO'd over and over and over and over and over again is disturbing. Is very, very, very disturbing. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Quite frankly, I'm sick of it. And I have no idea when it's going to come to an end. So, yeah, Tagir didn't get that bonus. That's super unfortunate. That was a great finish. Do you think the UFC will ever... No. Absolutely not. Justin don't want the fight. Neither does Chandler or Poirier. Cut them all, honestly. Yeah, cut them all. Oh, man, that's such a good fight. Rafa versus Conor. I would love that matchup. Was RDA losing when the 5th round versus Khabib began? Yes. Also, do you think it was an early stoppage? No. RDA was out cold. What's up? What's going on, Jacob? Appreciate you stopping by. The amount of privilege these fighters think they have once they reach the top 5 is insane. They complain that nobody in the top 5 wants to fight them, and then when they get there, they're like, I'm not fighting anyone behind me. No, I'm not fighting nobody behind me. Hell no. Ain't happening. So it's actually quite annoying and really unfortunate. But what can you do? I don't know what you can do. I'm not a happy camper about it. But it is what it is. Carolina Garcia wins WTA final. I don't even know what you're talking about. Guys, do me a favor if you have not already. Like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Also, I'm probably not doing a live stream this Saturday. I'm probably just going to chill back, watch UFC 281, and then I'm going to do a post-fight live stream. So if you want to join the members Discord, the link is in the description. It's $3. You get to join the members Discord. You can message me 24/7. We'll be in there live Saturday discussing all the fights. And yeah, so we have a great community in there, about maybe 50, 60 people in the members Discord. We're talking all the latest MMA news every single day, all day, and we'll be discussing the fights live during the fights. And then afterwards, I'll be doing the post-fight stream. You also get a bunch of other benefits as well. So the link is in the description if you want to become a member. We're slowly creeping towards 100 members. We're slowly creeping. So if you want to support the channel, the link is down in the description. Wild Conor versus RDA be a big fight since they have history. I mean, any Conor fight will be a big fight. So yes, it will be a big fight. Who would win, Patty? Nobody. Who do you think is the best MMA manager? Like Izzy, Yuri? I have no idea. I don't pay too close attention to that. The whole I don't want to be a stepping stone is such BS. Like, dude, Tony did the favor for you. You didn't get the chance to someone else. Don't pull up the ladder behind you. It's super annoying. It's actually very, very annoying and drives me nuts. The double with Justin is annoying. That's why I never liked him besides watching his fights. We'll see what happens. I think inevitably he'll probably fight Khabib anyway. Dariush has been patient and respectful. He deserves the shot now. I agree. Like David, thank you, Evic. I feel like if a fighter is highly ranked coming off a loss, it shouldn't be a question of whether or not they fight someone ranked behind them. It should be a formality. Speaking my language, man. Speaking my language. I agree 150%. 150% I agree with you, my friend. You shouldn't get a choice. You shouldn't really get a choice. You got to fight someone coming up. I'm so tired. I actually been wanting to make a video for a while about how the rankings cause more problems than they're worth, to be quite honest. So even if Izzy got round 1 KO'd, would he still get an immediate rematch? Yes, especially if he got round 1 KO'd. Let Gaethje be fed to Beneil. He will not step. He will tear Gaethje apart. I think Gaethje has a better chance of beating Beneil than he does at beating Fiziev, in my opinion. I think Fiziev is just a nightmare matchup for Justin Gaethje, and I think that's why he doesn't want that matchup. But I'm hoping the UFC inevitably just kind of forces his hand and he takes that fight. In his heart of hearts, I don't really think Justin believes he can win the title, nor do I think Dustin wins it. Yeah, I agree with you. They know. They know. They saw Islam Makhachev win that belt and they said, nope. Their best chance was against Charles Oliveira. That was their best chance to become undisputed champion. And they weren't able to do it. So, you know, now Islam's the champ. I think a lot of people are saying, looks like I'm never going to be champion unless somebody dethrones that guy. But you never know. You never know what's bound to happen. So people get KO'd all the time. I don't want to see Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje fight Islam Makhachev. I have no desire. I already know the result there. What's up, Chris? Yeah, I would hate if Gaethje fought Benny. Feels like throwing Dariush under the bus. Yeah, wouldn't be very fair. But he said, I'll fight anyone. I'll fight 100 more guys if I have to. So that's Dariush's fault, to be quite honest. That is Dariush's fault. Is the Islam versus Volkanovski fight not happening anymore? That's a rumor. I think it's going to happen. Joe, what do you mean nobody would win? That's it. Well, Fiziev also didn't do himself any favors by calling out Rafa. Yeah, Fizzy's weird call-outs aren't even interesting to me. People act like, ha, 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 this is so funny. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. Gaethje and Beneil are friends, though. They have a pact that they will not fight each other unless it's for a title. Makes sense. Okay. The Diamond isn't good. I hate how people think he's good. He is good, dude. He is good. So he just isn't, he can't beat the very top guys. So if he's not good, then what do you think of Conor McGregor? Because he beat the shit out of Conor McGregor twice recently. So I would love to know your opinion on Conor. But that's just the way it is, I guess. Poirier is very good, just can't get over the hump. That's a great way to describe it. Just can't get over the hump. It's crazy because Poirier beat Max Holloway for that interim belt, but he just can't. He just couldn't get it from Khabib. Couldn't get it from Charles, and he damn sure ain't getting it from Islam Makhachev. But it wouldn't surprise me if next thing you know, he ends up fighting for a belt. It would not surprise me if he goes out there and chins Michael Chandler if next thing you know, they're looking to get him a belt. Who could Holloway beat at lightweight? Nobody. I think he's going to be too undersized. Too undersized, he's going to either get outstruck and, outpowered or outgrappled by guys like Gamrot and Sarukian and Demirs Magulov, and Jalen Turner probably outstrikes him even and submits him. Too long, too big. I think Max Holloway's going to have to put on some weight if he wants to be successful in the lightweight division. But let me take a look at the rankings real quick. Let me take a look. UFC rankings. Could he beat Drew Dober? Yes. He'd probably beat Tony Ferguson. Could he beat Conor? Yes. Could he beat Dan Hooker? Yeah. But after that, I don't see him beating anybody else. He's not beating Demir. He's not beating Jalen. He's not beating Sarukian. He's not beating Gamrot. He's not beating Dos Anjos. He's not beating anybody else. I'm not even going to go through the entire list. But he could beat some of the guys like lingering around 15. Joey, if I don't like guys that don't fight for your money, Okay. Joey, if Islam takes out Volk and Benny, does he become the second greatest lightweight after Khabib? He'll be very close to tied with Khabib after that. Max versus Conor, maybe? That'd be fun. How does Dustin quit? I don't know. I don't understand that one either. O'Malley versus current Max. Max would win. Is it that Dustin is not a wrestler and under the current UFC rules, wrestlers are hugely favored? It's just he can't defend the takedowns, and then he also doesn't have the greatest submission defense against elite level submission guys. Fiziev is next up. Put some respect on that man's name. Ankalaev getting the belt will be the worst thing for the UFC. The man has the personality of a potato. See, for me, I don't care about the personality, so I'd be okay with Magomed Ankalaev getting the belt. I care about skill level and how matchups play out and intrigue of those matchups. So for me, it doesn't really matter. If Leon wins again, he should say taking what from who? I don't get it. I don't get it. But if Leon wins again, that'll be very impressive. Sorry I'm late. Was watching The Walking Dead. That still exists? The Walking Dead still exists? I didn't even know that. Fiziev versus Poirier would be close AF. I think Fiziev wins, but I think Poirier would be competitive. Fiziev F's him up? Maybe. I favor Fiziev against pretty much everyone in the division outside of Islam. But it's tough to say. I mean, he needs to get a big fight next. I'd like to see him in a very big fight in his next fight. He deserves to be in a very big fight in his next fight. So we'll see what happens. Your Dustin Chandler video is going to get a bunch of views. It's almost over 1,000. It's almost over 1,000. It's only been out for a little bit too, I think. Let me go take a look. Yeah, it's been out for like 5 hours. It's got over 800 views. It might not show that on your end, but it's showing that on my end. My end's more up to date. So hopefully it keeps climbing. What you guys need to go check out, whether it be today, tomorrow, you guys need to watch the Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. That's just getting buried right now. I mean, that's got less than 200 views. That's terrible compared to usual, what I get. It's because I've released so many videos, I get it. But I want every one of my predictions to go over 1,000. Everything else is looking good, but that one. I guess people don't care about Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. I mean, Blanchfield versus Molly McCann's looking solid as can be right now. Looking good, getting good views, good watch time, good amount of subscribers gained from it. Reyes Span is looking incredible right now. Still climbing, over 1,000 already. Picked up a bunch of subscribers. Hanato Moicano versus Brad Riddell isn't great, but it's doing okay. I think all of these will start to pick up later in the week. Dan Hooker, Claudio Puelles is doing solid. Not great, but solid. But Frankie Edgar, Chris Gutierrez is doing god-awful. It's under 200 views. So you guys need to go check that one out. Help me boost out an algorithm. But Poirier Chandler is really doing solid right now. Just for comparison, Poirier Chandler has been out less time and has 45 likes. Edgar versus Gutierrez has been out longer and only has 16 likes. So I'll post a link for that video before I leave the chat, and you guys can boost it. It's because I've posted so many videos. Yes, it has. When you post 7 videos, they're not all getting recommended enough. So it's because there's so many predictions. And nobody gets notifications. They only give out 3 notifications per 24-hour period. Chandler probably KOs him. We'll see. Usman said it all in the pre- and post-fight pressers. Taking what from who? Oh, I didn't even watch him, so I don't remember. Chandler versus Fiziev would be massive. That'd be incredible. Can't wait for Poirier Chandler. Banger for sure. Chandler versus Poirier is going to be really fun. I think I just hate his wife saying, "Told y'all about my husband." Yeah, that was cringy as hell. I remember that clip. You think Fiziev would beat Charles? Yes. Islam just needs to be active. If he's more dominant, he should fight more than Khabib was, fight once a year. Yeah, I hope Islam fights like twice a year. That's what I want. Hey, that's fair. Keep your fling on a string. Okay. Back from Monday Night Football. What I miss. I need Molly to be sent to the gulag. Tired of her. Molly McCann, I know there's some people that like her quite a bit. I find her incredibly annoying. I want her to lose. I want her to lose, and I want her to lose badly. Gonna watch your last 3 predictions in a bit. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Someone explained to me once, if you upload more, yes, if you upload more than 3 times a day, it's not helping you very much. Just because there's so many videos and YouTube's trying to recommend this and that, and they're not sending out notifications for all those videos. So I got Charles choking out Fiziev. It'd be an interesting fight. I think Fiziev's just too technical in the feet, and I think he'd KO. I think he KO'd Charles probably. But that fight's not happening. That was bullshit. I told you guys that was bullshit, and then 10 minutes later it came out that it was bullshit. What the hell is going on with Derek Minner? There's an investigation. People think he came into the fight hurt. There was a suspicious betting line. All of a sudden, people started betting on Minner's opponent. So there's some investigation to see what was going on there. I got Fiziev chinning Charles. I'm probably with you on that one. I think I take Fiziev by TKO against Charles Oliveira. Molly is gorgeous. Okay. Molly is going to win incredibly. I think Molly loses to Aaron Blanchfield. I couldn't believe the UFC even booked this fight. I thought the UFC would give Molly McCann a winnable matchup. What's crazy to me is Molly McCann, I didn't realize this, and I said this in my prediction video. She's been in the UFC forever, guys. She's been in the UFC for 4 years. Over 4 years. Almost 5 years. Most people don't even realize that because she's riding the coattails of Patty. People didn't even know who Molly McCann was before this last year with her and Patty Pimblett. You know, her riding the coattails of the Patty Pimblett hype train. So that's insane to me that she's been in the UFC for 4 years. I knew she had been in here for a while, but not that long. I thought she maybe 2-3 years. The MMA gods will strike down Molly just a matter of time before she's irrelevant. She's already irrelevant, basically. Krause is his coach, too. Yeah, I saw that. If Dominic Reyes loses, does he retire? He probably should. Aldo wants to box, apparently. He's training with Brazilian military boxing team. Yeah, that's been something he's done in the past before. Molly looks like a Hey Arnold character. That she does. That she does, for sure. I also didn't even realize Molly's so old. Isn't she like 35? I don't remember. I said it in my prediction video. It was cringe when she was all drunk, not letting Patty talk. Like, we trying to listen to Patty, not you. Yeah, Molly's very, very annoying. People like that personality, though. For me, I just find her annoying. But it is what it is. Some people like that obnoxious craziness of her. Dominic Reyes will win. Ryan Spann sucks. But Ryan Spann is huge for the weight class and has nasty KO power. So I could totally see Ryan Spann KOing him. But skill for skill, there's no doubt in my mind that Dominic Reyes should win. But it's all about that KO power and that chin and that long layoff of Dominic Reyes. To be honest, I think Fiziev can keep it on the feet long enough with his takedown defense to chin Islam too. Yeah, I think Fiziev is the biggest threat to Islam in my opinion. But I still favor Islam in that fight. Patty goes down. She does too. Yeah. Well, Patty's going to be babied for a bit. Patty's going to be babied for a bit. Matt Molly is 32. Okay, thanks for correcting that. The only thing more annoying than Molly in the MMA world is the full spend sports, and he who shall not be named. I couldn't have said it better myself, Alex. Couldn't have said it better myself. Full send MMA is terrible. MMA math, Lionheart smokes Spann, so therefore Reyes should. MMA math doesn't always work. Who should be next for Dawson? I'd like to see him against Terrence McKinney. Something along those lines. I definitely don't want to see him against Tony Ferguson. Shame on him for even calling out Tony Ferguson. Who does Cyril Gane fight next? I think he should fight Curtis Blades. I think that makes sense. They're going to milk that Patty gravy train with biscuit wheels. Yeah, they're going to keep feeding Patty winnable matchups for at least another year or so. Patty's never going to be able to beat top competition. I'll tell you guys that right now. Unless he gets drastically better. I mean, he is still young, but he's not like 21 years old young. He's like 30. So, yeah. The fight was great, but blown way out of proportion. The Chandler Gaethje is an overrated fight. The third round of Chandler Gaethje was awful. But the fight was really good. Allen is going to be a problem. I agree. Arnold Allen. The fight was great, but blown. Okay, I already read that. So you want to see him dead, Joey? LOL, fighting McKinney? Yes. Yes. He called out Tony Ferguson. So, you know, if you're going to call out the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson, I want to see Terrence McKinney turn you into a corpse. Where was I at? Thomas, you need help. Patty versus Tony Ferguson, 6-month training camp. Who wins? I'll say Tony Ferguson, but I don't know. Dawson is good. I think he should get someone ranked. He doesn't deserve someone ranked for beating Mark Madsen. No. Joe, you got a guy in this chat smoothing over Molly. Yep. Delusional. You think Patty believes he can ever become champ? He probably does. But I think the UFC knows he won't. They'll try to finesse him there though by giving him the most favorable matchups they can give him. But at some point, you can only get so favorable. Big Marcel said that Khabib versus Gaethje is being looked at for March. Let me go take a look at this, see if this is real or not. Let me take a look. I told you I thought eventually UFC would force his hand, but so let's see if you got a lion. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, my friend. I think you're lying. I'm not seeing it at all. Yeah, I don't see this. Let me just search this thing. Big Marcel. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't see nothing. I see nothing. So, I think you're lying. Or you saw some fake information somewhere. So, thanks for being an asshole and wasting 30 seconds of my time. Dawson low-key got slept by Glenn. Okay. Honestly, Tony probably just outstrikes him and maybe finishes him. Patty striking is dog shit. Yeah, Patty striking is awful. When will Terrence get a ranked fight? I don't know. Bryce Mitchell versus Patty. Bryce Mitchell easily wins that fight. I mean, look what Levitt was able to do to Patty on the ground. Although I'll say this, Shayna Young, low-key thick. Okay. Imagine Chandler KOs Dustin like Tony. That would be insanity to see. I just watched to see Chandler win and call out McGregor would be an amazing fight to look forward to. I agree. I love when Chandler wins and gets on the mic. I think it's kind of corny, but I guess people like it. There's no reports about it. Big Marcel said it on his podcast with Adam Martin. There's talk about it for March, but nothing official. Okay. Thank you for filling this in. I'll take your word for it. I don't see it. Man, this makes me want to take some pre-workout right then. Okay, to the guy smoothing over Molly, like, what are you going for here? Her Rockstars looks or winning personality? Yeah. I have no idea what they're looking for in that one. I'm just gonna go look at. Let's go. I've not watched the countdown. Or is there any embeddeds out yet or no? Israel Adesanya cried backstage. Alex Pereira sees Israel Adesanya's entire team mentally shook. That's really an article right now. Shane Burgos injured. Bilal Muhammad slams Colby Covington. I like that Bilal wants to fight Hamzat, though. I do respect that. So, I don't know. Rose Namajunas explains decisions to address childhood abuse and past trauma in new documentary. Not watching that one. I'm going to be skipping that one. Who is Johnny Walker fighting next? Because I heard the murmur of him fighting Paul Craig. Supposedly that's the fight, but I haven't seen that be official anywhere. Drew Dober versus Patty prediction. Who win? Who? What about Moises Patty? Both of those beat Patty Pimlet for sure. Same. Don't really care too much when Chandler gets on the mics. Can see why people get it though. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, episode 1 dropped today. I'll have to check it out. MMA media's in the dumps. Like, what are these articles? I don't even click on any MMA articles ever, unless I think it's like something really like I need to read. Most of it's all in the headline, and most of the articles are just absolute horseshit anyway. So I'll just read updates on Twitter. The Diaz brothers will always be the best on the mics after a win. Yeah, I guess so. Sure. Is Gaethje, Poirier, and Chandler slowing down the evolution of the lightweight division? Yeah, but not for long. I think the lightweight division will have its turnover soon. Do you click on McGregor articles? Absolutely not. They're all just pictures of his tweets. I learned that like 6 years ago. I literally, I don't remember the last time I actually clicked on an MMA article. I don't remember the last time I did. Because they're not good. They're nothing. They're literally nothing. Somebody comment on every single video I have. That's crazy. Let's see if I got any hidden comments. YouTube did. I don't know why that got flagged. Some guy's trying to promote his YouTube channel on my YouTube channel that got flagged because he posted a link. I believe that Rose's Esparza thing is an overreaction. Yes, they had one of the worst fights ever, but both Rose and Esparza had good fights before that. Will very likely get finished, so it won't be boring. This channel is now cringe towards Rose. I disagree. Rose has plenty of potential left if she desires to come back. One effing bad fight. Somebody called me cringe towards Rose, and somehow I got flagged. I approved it. Oh my god, these people are hilarious. Some of these comments that get flagged are absolutely hilarious. But I pretty much approve them all. Paul Craig is overrated. Paul Craig's striking is some of the worst I've ever seen. Bilal and even Magny were calling out Hamzat before Burns. Legit respect to those two. Paul Craig got exposed. Paul Craig's never been good. McGregor looks huge. He's on PEDs. I got an actual heated watching Paul Craig in his last fight. Such a pussy way to fight. Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Paul Craig has some of the worst striking on the roster. I would agree. Craig versus Hooper striking. Throw Juliana Pena in there as well. Man, UFC Orlando is stacked as F. I hate the main event, though. Rose sucks. I mean, that last fight was awful. I wouldn't say she sucks, but... Joey, apart from O'Malley, have you interacted with any other fighters on social media? Occasionally, me and Chris Curtis are going back and forth. But that's about it. Joe Rogan's commentary is getting out there and careless. He's turning into a sandwich right before your eyes. A sloppy Joe, yeah. Pena calling for the trilogy on the UFC desk was positively one of the most cringe things I've ever seen. And she's saying, I took a screenshot of this, actually. I could not believe this. Let me pull it up for you guys. She said she was complaining that DC was saying she didn't deserve the title shot because she got 50-43. She said, "You're saying that my work doesn't warrant it? I'm the first ever woman to win the Ultimate Fighter. How is that relevant to a title shot?" Then she says, "I've torn 4 out of 5 ligaments in my knee and came back from that. Actually, both knees. How is that relevant to getting a rematch in a title shot? I gave birth and had a baby and came back from that. Who cares? Who cares? How does that make you more worthy of a trilogy? You got dominated for 5 rounds. Why would we want to see that trilogy?" She said, "I've been clawing and scratching my way to the top and been in the division since 2013 when they first allowed women to join the UFC and did everything that I said I was going to do leading up to that fight. Why are you hating on me and wanting me to get, for wanting to get a trilogy fight?" I mean, she's delusional. That's the cringiest thing ever. Because you tore ligaments in your knees is the reason you deserve a trilogy? Because you gave birth means you deserve a trilogy? What the fuck is wrong with you, you dumbass? And anybody who wants to see Juliana Pena fight Amanda Nunes in a trilogy, leave right now. Just go. Get out of here. Nobody wants to see that fight. Juliana Pena sucks. She has the worst striking I've ever seen in my entire life. She got absolutely dominated by Amanda Nunes in the last fight. And she only won. It was basically a fluke. She won because Nunes didn't take her seriously. Should have pulled out of the fight, but didn't pull out of the fight. I never want to see Pena fight again either. And I knew she'd get wrecked in that rematch. I knew she would get wrecked in that rematch. I don't ever want to watch Juliana Pena strike ever again. And the fact that she's calling for a trilogy is embarrassing. It's like calling out Tony Ferguson after a big win. That's how embarrassing it is. Remember how bad Damian Maia's striking was? Yes. Do you think Hill will ever get the winner of Glover Yuri? It's possible. Supposedly Hill has a fight book, though. Pena wants a rematch. She wants another career-altering beating by one of the female GOATs. Yes. Joe is declining, got rich, I think. Yes. I hope Aspinall's knee injury doesn't affect his career. One thing I hate about MMA is why don't we get more updates on injuries? I gave birth, LOL. I know you wouldn't say Rose sucks. Her coach probably has a different opinion, though. That's true. Hey, I had back surgery this year. If it doesn't warrant a UFC title fight, I don't know what does. There you go. Yeah, I had surgery, so I deserve a title shot. I gave birth, so I deserve a title shot. The most ridiculous reasoning ever. She should have said, if she wants to make a case, she really doesn't have a case, but I would say, I whooped her ass, I finished her, and I gave her a rematch. I wasn't the best on that night in the second fight. I want a trilogy to prove how good I am. You know? That's what she should do. I wasn't, it was this reason or that reason is the reason I lost the second fight, and I want a trilogy fight to set the thing straight. I gave her an immediate shot. She should give me an immediate shot. That's the case to be made. I still would laugh at it, but at least it'd be logical thinking. She's still the only one to beat Amanda in a long time. True. I love watching Nunes fight, to be honest. She's probably in my top 5. She's a solid fighter. Dong Young Kim got KO'd by Damian Maia. How embarrassing. That is very embarrassing. I forgot about that. Amanda would abuse her in the cage. Yeah, she already did once. Nunes bet on herself to lose. I'll die on that hill. Wouldn't surprise me, bro, or someone in her family did. Hell no, Pena should have ran with the belt. That she should have. She should have pulled a Duran Duran to me. Worse than Ben Askren. Oh my God, do you guys remember Damian Maia, Ben Askren striking fest? Absolute garbage and an embarrassment. Let's see that trilogy. It's a super fight. Yeah, I want to see Nunes. I want to see Pena move up to 45 and fight her for the 45 belt. I want to see Juliana and Jorge hang out together and asking for a handout club. Yeah, that's about right. I want to see her strike its prime comedy. I mean, anyone who thinks Juliana Pena has good striking is completely disconnected from reality. I mean, that's some of the worst striking I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm embarrassed to have even watched it. I mean, is her coach watching her hit pads and saying, hell of a job, Pena. You're going to be world champ one day. I mean, she literally strikes as if she has cerebral palsy. It's the worst striking, most uncoordinated striking I've ever seen in my entire life. And the fact that she was a UFC champion, she'll go down in history as a UFC champion, actually hurts me to my soul. Juliana Pena, outside of maybe Nico Montana, is the worst UFC champion we've ever had. The worst UFC champion we've ever had. She didn't even deserve the title shot. She got a borderline fluky win over Amanda Nunes. And now she goes down in history as a title holder, and now she wants a trilogy fight. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. And who wants to see that? Is there anybody that wants to see that? Let me know in the chat. Do you want to see Juliana Pena get a trilogy fight? Do you think it'll be competitive? Because I certainly don't. Why do you think Bobby Green was able to do so well against a striker of the caliber of Fizzy? Bobby Green has very good striking himself. That's why. I stopped watching the Nunes Pena 2 fight after the third round. That shit was so embarrassing. Clear as day, Pena ain't belong in the octagon with her. And it was a fluke win. There you go. There you go. Sometimes when I'm down, I watch Duran Duran and choke out Pena. Sounds about right. Who do you think will win UFC 281? Dude, what is that? Prediction video will be out tomorrow. Pena only beat Nunes the first time because Nunes was off that night and she would have never beat a fresh and ready Nunes. Agreed. Pena, your reasoning was somewhat better than I sucker punched you when you weren't expecting it and fed on the clout for a year, so I deserved a title shot. I guess so. Pena striking or Ronda striking? Ronda had better striking than Pena, in my opinion. What time is the main card going to start Pacific time? For 281? I believe it starts 6 Eastern time. So Pacific time is 3 hours before, right? So 3, I believe. Pena seems like the type to not take criticism very well, for sure. She definitely doesn't take criticism well. Prime comedy, yeah, no frame, no footwork, no commitment, inflict damage. Yeah, Pena, I mean, most uncoordinated striking I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how, as a coach, You could even send her into a title fight. I'd be embarrassed to send her into a title fight. I'd be embarrassed to call myself Juliana Pena's head coach. I mean, you know those people that go on American Idol and their family is like, you're a hell of a singer. You're one of the best in the world, and they really sing like dog shit. I think that's her coach and her teammates and her family. Like, oh, you're one of the best fighters in the world. And then they get in there and the judges are like, this is the worst singing I've ever heard. And we see Pena and this is the worst striking I've ever seen in my life. I know you don't like it, but I'm curious who will be the next coaches of Tough. That's never even crossed my mind. I have no idea who it will be. Esparza begs to differ, which is why Weili will put her lights out. There you go. Joey, make a case for Masvidal get a title shot. I will not make a case for Masvidal get a title shot. The most logical thing she could have said is, I tried so many times to submit her on my back, but she still needs 1 or 2 wins to earn the stripes. Yeah. I really don't want to see Henry Cejudo fight again. Dude is a clown. Dude is a clown for sure, and he's cringe as hell. Joey, do you have friends or family who are hardcore MMA fans like you? No, I do not. Holly Holm striking in her last fight was laughable. She threw 4 telegraphed pillow punches and even more telegraphed head kicks every time she engaged. Holly Holm striking is regressing, and she's always been a pillow puncher. Her hands are terrible. She has good kicks, but her hands are terrible. Honestly, if Jorge gets a title shot, Leon will probably inflict the beating of a lifetime on him. He doesn't have the skills or gas tank to deal with it. Yeah, and he's not going to be able to stuff the takedowns either. I think stuffing the takedowns is going to be difficult as well. But you never know. If Jorge catches Leon with the punch that Nate Diaz caught him with, I think we're looking at a KO, to be quite honest. So he has an opportunity, but he ducked that fight for a long time, and now all of a sudden he wants it because Leon's got the title. No sirree, Bob, and no universe does Jorge Masvidal deserve a title shot. Welterweight has been the worst division as far as fighters just stalling and hoping to be gifted a title shot. It's annoying as hell. He's cringe, but a decent fighter. Talking about Henry Cejudo, agreed. Who do you think Jorge Masvidal beats in the top 15? Not very many, to be quite honest. Not very many. He probably beats Michel Pereira. He beats Daniel Rodriguez. He probably beats Neil Magny. Probably beats Michael Chiesa. I think him and Michael Chiesa fought before. He loses to Shavkat. He probably beats Vicente Luque. Probably loses to Sean Brady, but he could beat Sean Brady because his striking is awful. So I might pick him over Sean Brady. Loses to Wonderboy and loses to everyone else. So there you go. Leon would KO Masvidal worse than Usman did. Agreed. Rousey striking with feet apart was one of the worst, honestly. Her striking was god-awful. And remember Rogan was acting like she was a professional boxer? If Jorge beats Burns and Leon beats Usman again, Jorge may get a title shot. He may very well. That's true, Joey. We've seen Leon get walled by Nate, but that doesn't deserve a title shot. Agreed. Masvidal literally fell out of the fight with Leon and got a new fight less than a month later. He turned into a chump. Yeah, I think the conspiracy theory. Honestly, I feel like Jorge may be underrated now by some. Maybe. Chill. Jorge will fight as soon as he gets up from Ron DeSantis' crotch. All right. Is Jorge versus Wonderboy a good fight? No. Wonderboy's striking is just going to pick him apart from the outside. Is Jorge... Okay, read that. Even Magny and Luque wins would be suspect for game bread. I think he beats Magny and Luque, but we'll see. Joey is literally the last voice I hear to end most of my days, and I'm totally cool with that. Thank you, little seal. Appreciate you. I want to know Tony Ferguson made it to Harvard. Never thought Tony as a scholar. Yeah, that sounds crazy. Rogan's downfall started when he cried thinking about how amazing Rousey's striking was. What a joke. Who remembers when he was saying she was a once ever athlete? Not even a once in a lifetime. Once ever. And he was saying she's like a pro boxer and her striking looks so good. And I mean, Rogan really embarrassed himself. Leon would have wrecked Jorge. I agree. I mean, the wrestling, the grappling, everything put together, I think Leon beats him up pretty badly. Rogan is such a tool. Some of his takes make him sound like a tool, like Ronda beating the men's featherweight division. And Rogan used to be wildly liked by the MMA community, and now I feel like the tide is turning. He's so annoying. Rogan has been on the decline. Don't think he cares anymore. He showed up. Yep. He's checked. I think he's checked out. He's got too much going on. Time flew for sure. I remember the Jorge Leon backstage 3-piece in a soda like it was yesterday. Been like 5 years. That's crazy. I remember watching that downstairs in my living room when it happened. Joe Rogan brought Rose Ronda into the studio and cried over her supposed greatness. Definition of a simp. Yeah, I guess so. Rogan lost all his credibility when he compared Rousey to Mayweather. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's quite embarrassing, to be quite honest. I mean, how dare you? When she had some of the worst striking ever. But because she looked good against Betch Cajeda, he pretends like she's a pro boxer. Disgusting. Is Carla versus Rose actually the worst fight in the UFC? It's up there. I would say yes. JJ Smoke, thank you for the 5 months of membership. Damn, 5 months already. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your support. I hope you've been enjoying being a member. Have you been enjoying being a member? Let me know in the chat, JJ. Thank you. Ronda versus Mayweather in MMA, who would win? I'm not even discussing that. Rogan is really good at hyping up bad fighters and staying quiet about generational fighters. His love for MMA, and he's overtaken his knowledge for MMA. Maybe so. Maybe so. Joe Rogan and Dana both need to leave the sport. They're no longer invested. Probably burned out, honestly. I don't know. To be honest, Joe Rogan has pretty basic boxing takes. You can't tell he's not an active watcher of fights, and he always repeats the same thing. I don't even listen to anything Rogan says anymore, so I don't even know. Dana cares more about how much money each fight pulls and opposed to how good they are. Of course. That's been the name of the game for a while. You know, that's just the way it is. Joe needs to pay attention for committing crimes against humanity, for introducing us to Brendan Schaub. Yeah, Joe, that's the worst thing Joe Rogan's ever done, for sure. Why does Islam say Chandler is a striker? Dude only knows 3 combos. He's a wrestler from Missouri. I mean, Chandler doesn't really wrestle, though, so he's kind of right. I've liked it besides those timeouts. In Dana's defense, his job is to make good fights and hype them up, although 279 doesn't excuse Joe Rogan, just likes who he likes. I mean, I don't know. 279 was garbage. Don't even remind me of that. The only thing good out of 279 is it gave me some good content ideas for future series. Things I love and things I hate about a pay-per-view. Rogan's all-time quote, I think you would be surprised, about Schaub versus Kane in a wrestling match. Was it a wrestling match? I thought it was a MMA fight. You think you could beat Kane? And Brendan said, I think you'd be surprised. And he said, I think you'd be surprised because I think he'd fuck you up. And that's really what made Brendan Schaub go viral in a way. It's crazy. That was so long ago. But Brendan Schaub is now a household name in the MMA community, unfortunately, which makes me want to throw up. I mean, I can't believe it. You know, it is what it is, though. It is what it is. Would you care when Dana and Rogan leave? I'll probably care. I'll be nervous to see what it comes because, you know, I don't like change. So if it ends up, you know, if it ends up with someone like that we absolutely hate and does terrible for the sport, it'd be super unfortunate. But I don't know. It could end up being for the better. Dana has basically the easiest job ever. I don't know about all that. It's probably not easy, but remember Joe freaking out over Khabib getting his head knocked out by Michael Johnson? Yeah, it was one punch, and they were saying he was basically knocked out. Do you think Joe Rogan is good for society? Probably not. Would you ever do a Brendan Schaub watch along and react to his horrible takes? My reaction to watching Brendan Schaub's takes would probably be me jumping in a wood chipper. So I think YouTube would take that down. I honestly don't even know who Brendan Schaub is. I barely know who he is at this point, but I just know he's really annoying. Every clip I see is just him being an idiot. I wonder how many people actually like him versus don't like him. Because, I mean, obviously he has people watching. So there's an audience for it for sure. Do you think Uncle Chael would be good? No. If Uncle Chael took over, I'd be pissed. Pena wants the trilogy fight, and Amanda thinks she's a competitive fight. The only thing that can help Pena was Amanda getting, probably. Yeah, I would watch that. You'd watch me commit suicide by jumping in a wood chipper by watching Brendan Schaub. Absolutely not. You're terrible. When is Covington fighting Hamza? I want answers now. I'll say March of next year. Joe was like, listening, you're not going to make it here. You will have to do comedy because I, Joe Rogan, your father, have said so. Join me on the dark side. Yeah. Joey has a way of roasting. I'm just being honest here. How would a conversation between Schaub and Chael go? I don't want to find out. I'll tell you that much. What exactly do you have against Joe Rogan? Besides, I mean, he's terrible in the sport of MMA. On top of that, he's brought Brendan Schaub into the limelight. Need I say more? He is responsible for Brendan Schaub's popularity. Need I say more? So, and we're talking about his MMA, his horrible MMA takes. So, that's kind of an odd question. What exactly do you have against this guy? Well, we're talking about specific criticisms of it. How would you compare the entertainment value of 279 and 280 after each event? Seemed like 279 turned out to be a lot more exciting, even with... No, I think 280 was much better. 279 was garbage in general. Who do you think would be the best UFC announcer? Like commentator or announcer? Because Bruce Buffer's the best announcer. Who are the commentators for 281? Hope it's probably DC, Rogan, and Anik. Brendan Schaub ruined MMA streams, so that's why I don't F with him. There you go. If Chael was in charge of the UFC, it would just be WWE. Rogan's biggest sin is Schaub, for sure. Daisies. Michael Chandler, doping or super athletic? It's hard to say. You never know. It could very well be either one. He is jacked. I mean, Chandler's probably one of the more jacked guys in the entire sport. Would you do a shoey for 10,000 subs? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we're creeping there. We're almost to 6,000, guys. We're at 5,778 subscribers right now. And this week, it's going to pick up. So subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. Joey, would you spend a night debating with MMA with Brendan Schaub and Tito Ortiz for $1,000? No. Absolutely not. It had to be like 20,000. DC, Rogan, and Anik, the dream team for commentary. For some, I guess. At one point, Joe Rogan not being there for every pay-per-view didn't feel as big, but now I'm happy when he's not there. I couldn't agree more with you. I used to feel that same way, too. Joe Rogan used to be my favorite commentary guy. And I've just turned on him. DC, Rogan, okay, Schaub was implying he had more brain cells than Nate Diaz. I'm like, that's your best joke since you became a comedian. That's not even true, probably. Wait, what? You think Rogan makes the UFC worse? Are you kidding me? Wow. Yeah, I think Rogan makes the UFC worse. If Bruce Buffer retired, it would suck. Yeah. Marab ruining the bantamweight division? Yep, he is. How lame is the announcer for Bellator? I mean, I don't know. Kind of lame. Chael has a wide open mouth for someone who's smacked by every goat in MMA. Joe Rogan brings in casual fans who mindlessly repeat his nonsense. He objectively makes the sport worse for hardcore fans. There you go. I can't wait for that Whaley Carla prediction. I already know it's going to be hilarious. I don't even know if it is hilarious. You'll have to let me know. I don't even remember now at this point. At this point, I already recorded it and erased it from my mind. So it might be hilarious. It might not be. You'll have to let me know. I definitely talked about how terrible the fight was, for sure. But I don't remember if it was funny or not. Let me go check something out. It's crazy how many videos I've released in the last, so many days, 2 days. Last 24 hours, really, I've released a crap ton of videos. Everything on my analytics, everything is up. Everything is up. Nothing but arrows up, 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 up. Everything. Views are up. Watch time is up. Subscribers are up. Everything is up. I like for Bellator good segues, and he's always funny. I don't know about the other guys. I don't know who you're talking about. What is your opinion on the Smo? I kind of find it corny, but it is what it is. He's doing a thing. They have great energy saying DC and Rogan, but at the end of the day, they are biased. Yeah, they have decent energy. They just scream, oh, 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 oh. Schmo seems like a cuck. Also, Sean bullied him and he took it. Okay. Why do you think Rogan makes the UFC worse? Give a legitimate constructive criticism. He's checked out from the sport. He doesn't seem like he cares about the sport anymore. He comes in with a preconceived narrative and sticks to it no matter what happens. The commentary is detached from reality. I feel like he's more focused on giving reactions to the camera than actually talking about the action in the cage. And sometimes I feel like he's incredibly biased, aka the Jan Blachowicz Israel Adesanya fight, where he was drooling over Israel Adesanya while Jan Blachowicz was clearly winning the fight. So there you go. There's some legit and constructive criticism for you, Mike. You happy now? You happy now, Mike? Huh? Joe Rogan does a good job at post-fight interviews. I agree. Sometimes he can be annoying in the post-fight interviews, but for the most part, I think he does a decent job. I think after the Jan and Izzy fight, won't ever look at commentators the same again. I agree. DC's so biased, I'm almost surprised he's allowed to commentate. I'll never forgive him for when Rose knocked out Ioane and Jacek in the first fight, and DC just sat there screaming, Thug Rose, Thug Rose, Thug Rose. I hated that moment. I hated that. Is the Pereira versus Adesanya prediction coming tomorrow? Yes, it will be out tomorrow. Does every prediction drop tomorrow? All my predictions will be out by tomorrow night. They are all recorded. They are pretty much ready to go. Got to make a thumbnail for the co-main event and fill out title description. Got to make a thumbnail for the main event and finish editing it. But it will all be out tomorrow, guys. Look forward to it. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Full breakdown and prediction will be out tomorrow. Okay, read that. Okay, how did it end up? Little seal with the graphs going up in the air. I like that because I can watch your predictions Wednesday media day, then Thursday press conference, Friday weigh-in, and Saturday fight night. Watch them all. Could a gorilla kill? I don't know what you're asking. Joey, one of Joe's worst moments is when he said the last 2 rounds in Jones-Reyes should count more because it was fight to the death. Yeah, I don't remember that, but that sounds terrible. The one thing Joe Rogan is supreme at: leaning back in his chair, hands thrown back, and eyes bulging, going, oh, while DC giggles like a schoolgirl and says that was crazy. Couldn't have said it better myself, NKS. Would you rather have Bisping or Rogan? Please, Rogan. Honestly, when I watch the commentary fades off like white noise. Yeah, I don't pay too close attention to the commentary anymore just because it annoys me. I wish there was an option to completely turn it off, in my opinion. How crazy would it be if Alex Pereira subs Izzy? Alex trains with Glover, so he must have some decent ground game. That doesn't always translate, though. I like when Rogan talks about the Shadow Realm. Agree with all those takes. Joe Rogan used to be decent play-by-play, but now he just screams he's hurt. Or he's in real trouble here. Or she's in real trouble here. Or I think there might be an injury to that right hand. The way he's holding it, I think there might be an injury to that right hand. Yeah, look at all these feints from Izzy. There's a lot of feints coming out of Izzy right now. He's winning this round because he's feinting. I think there's something might be injured on that left ankle. You know, the way he's walking, I think there might be an injury to that left ankle. We'll see. We'll see. He's in real trouble here. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. I mean, literally, I could literally do Rogan's commentary with a soundboard at this point. But they don't like Rogan because of the COVID thing, I guess. But they all do it. You just don't like Rogan because of the COVID thing, I'm guessing. Dude, I haven't liked Rogan for like 4 years now as far as UFC commentary. So to bring in COVID is the craziest thing ever. The dude is horrible at commentary compared to what he used to be. And he was one of my favorite commentaries in the MMA for a long, long time. But he's checked out now. So if you want to gobble up Joe Rogan's commentary, you're more than welcome to. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But don't try to make it about something that it's not. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. For real, like, shut the F up, Daniel. We all saw what happened. Exactly. Also, one thing I do about DC is he's exposing every fighter for being snowflakes when they get mad at his takes. That is true. Fighters are very sensitive. What weight class would you fight in? If I was in like optimal shape, I guess I would try to get down to 205. I think DC knows that people understand he's biased and it bothers him badly. He really wants to be liked. That is true. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. I think he's injured. And even when Rogan doesn't show up, he texts John Anik about injuries. Joe Rogan only commentates on the biggest fight card. Can't be any more casual. There you go. John Anik, the only one who feels like it belongs up there. Yeah, Anik is pretty good, but he says some corny ass shit, but I understand that's his job. He's rocked. Oh, he's rocked. Oh, this is Rogan. This is Rogan's entire commentary. Oh. Eyes bulging. He's grabbing on the Anik and DC. And he does those reactions just to do them. But they are kind of funny. I do enjoy the reactions a little bit. Out of all people who cover the UFC, you're probably the only one who doesn't like Rogan. I mean, all agree about the Adesanya fight, but other than that, he's fantastic. How could you hate a guy like Rogan? Well, let's put that to the test and let's do a poll. Do you like Rogan as a UFC commentator? I would say I'm in the majority. I think most people don't like Rogan anymore. Most people agree that he used to be better and now he's gotten bad. So I put a poll up in the chat. Let me see. Don't like Rogan because, yeah, that's weird. Joey, do you agree with when your striker tries to initiate the grappling and they tend to gas out because they aren't used to it? Yes, happened to Anthony Rumble Johnson as well. Anik is decent, and I like Dom as well, and Felder's. I like Dom and Felder. Rogan was only good when Goldberg made him look smarter. Maybe. Rogan used to be really good. Not to only bring him up as if he's the only one biased. I literally have said multiple times on multiple occasions that I literally almost like none of the commentators. So, you just haven't been here for long enough. You attack anyone who disagrees with you. You're so weird, man. Well, look, if you think you're being attacked, then get the fuck out of the chat. Nobody's being attacked. We're just having spirited debate here, okay? And seems like you have a victim complex there. I will agree that Joe does have some intelligent moments when he's commentating here and there, when he points out a split-second decision the fighters make, for sure. That one stung him. He got stung by that one, yeah, for sure. Looks like it's closer than I thought, 57-43. Yep, don't get me wrong. I love Rogan. I said when he fell off. He doesn't care about fighting anymore. Exactly. He fell off. I think most people would agree with that. Rogan also was doing cards back-to-back in 2002, but he's a casual. That's literally irrelevant. Bisbing is the worst commentator. I would agree. John Anik has some good, unique lines that will live on forever when a person wins, like every time Khabib went. John Anik has like some pre-written stuff that he says. Okay, where was I at? No, I'm just saying it's weird to only call him out. Well, that's not true. That's not factually true. So you're mistaken. We got a Rogan nut hugger. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm not a fan of Bisbing, but I love when he makes fun of Fitzgerald on the mic. I don't exactly like him as a commentator. However, the board doesn't really sound the same without him. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's been around forever. DC was elated that Islam won, and no respect to Charles was annoying. Further, he didn't push back when Islam said, "You need English to be better." I mean, that seems that even relevant. I don't even know what you mean. Yeah, the majority dislike Rogan. Well, the chat's getting close here, so haha. Joe, you got some feelings hurt for sure. We got some crybabies in the chat for sure. Imagine being that much of a crybaby. Go cry. You're attacking my man Rogan. Rogan's being attacked. I gotta go on the attack for him. Because you don't agree with me, I'm gonna be all upset in the chat. Where was I at now? I just skipped to the bottom. I don't exactly... Okay, read that. Majority. Do you believe that Izzy ever fights at light heavyweight again? I think there's a possibility. Only thing I like about Rogan is he appreciates the ground game. Joe points out certain grappling details, which I appreciate. Yeah, there's definitely some high points, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. I see this person went on their burner and started voting on the chat. I can see that right now. Bilal and Chiesa are pretty good in their post-fight breakdowns. I haven't seen too much of that, so I can't say. Cried about being attacked just to attack someone. Pathetic. Yeah. You guys get a cookie points for sucking up. You are the living example of the fact that it doesn't matter how great a person is, they will always criticize them. After all the motivation he gives others, you're still trashing him. It's unbelievable. Trashing him for having an opinion of not enjoying his commentary? Dude, you're over dramatic as hell. Bisping always beefs with Fizzy or Dom Cruz and kind of makes some good takes. I never really paid too close attention to that. I know Dan Hardy used to say some really corny stuff. Some really, really corny stuff. But I don't know what Bisping says too much. John Anik's most memorable line for Israel Adesanya is the king of the middleweights. I see a global decline in commentary. The cricket commentary is getting kind of trashy. I did not know that. Imagine being named Lisa Carney. Yeah, I guess that would be terrible. I guess you love Joe Rogan if that's your name. MMA is not made for some people in this chat. Go watch soccer. Yeah. Me making a TikTok would be better use of my time than, yeah, for sure. So we can't criticize people anymore because Joe Rogan gives motivation. What the F? My brother, yo, it's crazy, bro. Are the fighter are here local? I don't know what you mean. What did I miss? Let me see. Did I miss something? Go make a TikTok. Imagine calling someone a liberal for hating Joe Rogan. I don't see that anyway. I don't see that anywhere. That's the dumbest take I've ever heard. People don't realize we're only criticizing on their performance, doing their job. Yeah, I mean, we can have our own opinions. I can't imagine crying, loving Joe Rogan that much when he's there for 12 events per year. He's so good for those 12 events. What would we do without him? What would we do without him doing this the whole fight card? Oh. I mean, Rogan's literally horrific. Compared Rogan from 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, Rogan from 4 or 5 years ago puts himself in the absolute dirt. I mean, he was so good 4 or 5 years ago. He is absolutely horrific now. I mean, he's hard to listen to. I really wish we could mute Joe Rogan. That's how bad he is. He is horrific at commentary now. All he does is scream, he's hurt, and she's in real trouble here, and he's in real trouble here, and then he makes crazy reactions for the camera. That's all he does. But he only shows up for 12 events a year, 13 events a year, so we don't really have to worry about it all that much. You know? Ran into Alex on 42nd Street. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, Sean. The fighters are local to me, like I met Alex. Okay, I see what you're saying. You must live in New York. I see what you mean. That's pretty cool. People are all in their feelings because we called out Rogan for his declining commentary. Exactly. The majority of MMA fans agree too. Rogan with hair was better. Prime Rogan there was none like him. Yeah, I miss Prime Rogan actually. Can we talk about Big John McCarthy sucking ass on the mic as well? Big John McCarthy is literally horrific. Terrible. Absolutely atrocious. I mean, Joe Rogan looks like a superstar even now compared to Big John McCarthy. So, in early 2000s, there used to be one guy on the radio doing play-by-play all day of all the sports, also doing interviews. Imagine the exhaustion. I could only imagine. I agree. Anik is the man now. There you go. Man, this is like the tyranny version of the Guru Chat. You guys try to make jokes about people, but the thing is, no one can make jokes about Joe, which makes it pointless. We have fun with your yes man chat. I don't even know what you're saying. Sounds like you're a crybaby, is what it sounds like to me. Bro, 8 million people, and I'm still mad shocked. I was at the 200-year Lewis event, also in the city running errands. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that's pretty cool. It's not that I'm emotional, it's just stating facts. The guy uses his podcast to motivate others to be better, and yet here you are talking bad about him being a good person. Doesn't matter at all, I guess. I'm giving my opinion on what I think of his commentary. Stop being a crybaby, Mike. Yeah, brother, NYC fighters are staying in hotels somewhere around here. Makes sense. Build that yes man. Build that yes man group up. Don't allow anyone to criticize you. Have your mads. Suck your chode pee off daily. Okay, I will. I will. Why are you still here then? Leave me alone with my yes man chat. We only want people that agree here. Get out of here. I think you're embarrassed of yourself because you can't make any decent points. You're just wrong. You're just outright wrong. I can have an opinion, you can have an opinion. That doesn't make either one of us right or wrong. But it just sounds like you're a straight up crybaby. Go cry somewhere else. Get the fuck out of the chat. We don't need you here. You're a crybaby. Let my yes men suck off my chode PP and we can have a good old time in the chat, okay? We don't need you here. Get the hell out. Go somewhere else. You're just a crybaby. People can't have their own opinions. People can't have their own opinions without people crying. It's actually quite embarrassing, to matter of fact, I think. I can't imagine being that sensitive over the commentary of Joe Rogan, to be quite honest. It's really, really embarrassing to be that sensitive. So, okay, where are we at here? Guys, if you haven't liked the stream, like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Joey, honestly, this is content. The girl not know how to solve. It's probably some man. All right, so it's official. The poll has said no. The majority agree with me. They do not like Joe Rogan's commentary. So to anyone in the chat who disagrees, that's for you. The chat agrees. The tribe has spoken. Okay, where are we at? Goons are out tonight? I guess so. Bro, why you hate my brother trying to answer everyone in the chat? Much love. Appreciate you, Sean. Hope you're doing well. UFC should have 2 commentary channels like football. I wish they just had one where you could turn off the commentary. If you have haters, that means you're alive. I guess so. The difference is that man makes jokes about others and impressions, so it's warranted to get jokes the other way. Your comment is just irrelevant. Nothing but love here. There you go. Some people have nothing better to do. Yeah, I guess so. Go cry back, Lil Seal. Go off. She's still here. I'm a fan, makes his fans look bad. Why are you watching if you don't like the content? Yeah, you're watching me here. No valid points, exactly. People are just having their opinions. Plot, yeah, Lisa is Bernie for sure. For sure. Says 50-50. Stop being dramatic and announcing you're leaving. Just leave. Yeah, get out of here. Thanks for the watch time. I appreciate the watch time. Mr. Joey should be a commentator. Yeah, I would do a much better job than Joe Rogan for sure. So people are against you trashing Rogans or crybabies, and you're trashing Rogan, a motivational person. This guy is clearly trolling. A motivational person. Yeah. Rogan's above criticism. I disagree with a lot of Joey's takes, but still sub and come here to chat about MMA. There you go. When I watch football, I just mute the TV. I wish you could just listen to crowd audio. So, get a grip, lady. You need a therapist. Oh boy, who's playing victim now? Watch this. You really want to see this person rage? There we go. What the hell are you even talking about? Yeah, there you go. Also, I like Joe's podcast, but his ideological leanings do come through rather than on strong occasion. I don't even listen to it, so I don't even know. Since it went to Spotify, I haven't listened to it. Why is the press conference on Wednesday? No idea. Bro, you have a very boring voice, so no. Sweet. Get out of here. Adios. Leave. Imagine coming in to watch somebody live streaming and just be like, yeah, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I'm a very motivational man, so you can't, I'm giving out a lot of motivation, so you can't criticize me. I'm above criticism, okay? I disagree with Joey as well, but I ain't crying. Exactly. Exactly. We can have fun debating here. We can have fun debating here, but people just saying, you're not allowed to not like Rogan's commentary. Imagine saying that. Imagine if I told someone, you like Joe Rogan's commentary, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to like it. So, it's one of those things where it's just so weird. It's just so weird. And, I just, for me, I can't imagine telling people what opinion you're allowed to have or not have. It's strictly an opinion. I'm not stating a fact that is false. I'm giving my personal opinion. So, man, the Rogan criticism sure triggered a lot of people. There's a lot of Rogan nut huggers, I guess. I never realized it. Isn't Veterans Day on Friday, so that could be why they moved the press conference? I have no idea. Some people have in the Mondays. Haha. Do you enjoy the MMA content? There you go. Joe, you look like Hercules and sound like Morgan Freeman. F the haters. Thank you. Thank you. In Rogan's words, wounded antelope. I guess so. Imagine you couldn't criticize a bad movie just because someone else liked that movie. Exactly. I swear every time I click your stream, you are complaining or whining. Well, then don't click the stream, you little bitch. That's all I got to say. That's the world we live in these days. People and their feelings and opinions somehow means more than others. It's weird. Imagine caring because someone doesn't like Joe Rogan's commentary. Imagine crying yourself to sleep at night. Yeah, he doesn't like Joe Rogan's commentary. What a piece of shit. But I'm going to subscribe to his channel and watch his live streams. Unsubscribe. Tell YouTube not to recommend my channel. And never watch again. I'm doing this for fun in my free time. Do I make money off of it? Yes. But I don't need you here. I don't care if you're here. If you don't want to be here, why are you sitting in the chat complaining? Go somewhere else. Go watch somebody else. There's plenty of them. Go watch them. We don't want you here. You're a crybaby. John Jones just got violated. That he did. He's embarrassed right now. Going to the garage for a smoke. So here's for the record. Rogan fell off. He was my fave for a while. The poll should have said Rogan now and before. Exactly. Yeah, Rogan fell off massively. John Jones got 10-8 by Joey, I guess so. Felder, Cruz, and DC top 3. I like Felder and Cruz. I'm not a big fan of DC either. Look at the fanboys in the chat talking me for defending Joe Rogan, the nicest guy on the planet, and yet people are still haters. All right, bro. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Is that the real John Jones? I think it is. For sure it is. It definitely is the real John Jones. Guys, we're 2 hours into the stream. It's getting late. Sal Diamato would score at 30-26 for sure. But this is UFC 281 fight week. Maybe Rogan will show up for commentary. Maybe he won't. He's checked out of the MMA game. He shows up when he wants. Max 12 to 13 events per year. And some people just love to just ride his nuts. That's what they like to do. What's up? Keep out. Hope you're doing well. It's not your fault you think being a good dude automatically makes you good at your job, Mike. Your coworkers must love you. Yeah, there you go. What did you think of the 2 kickboxing fights between Izzy and Pereira? Izzy was clearly winning both of them. The first one he got robbed in. The second one he was winning the majority of the fight, and then he just got clipped and KO'd. I talk about it in the prediction video, which will be out tomorrow, but I finally watched them both in their entirety. And Israel Adesanya was clearly the better striker in both of them. DC Bisbing, best combo. Joey, stop playing. Yeah, that's the best combo. Mr. Joey, when are you going to go on Joe Rogan's podcast? I'm too big for Joe Rogan. At this point. I couldn't go on for such an inferior product, okay? So, dap me up, Jones. John Jones here. You can be the nicest guy on the planet and suck ass at your job. Exactly. She could literally just leave like people were actually effed in the head. Just mind your own. Joe's all about steel cups. Oh, yeah, the Thai steel cups he's always harping about. How the fulcrum from the arm bars, guys think the legs. Vintage Joe was great with Goldberg. I miss Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg together. So, Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg were the A-team of the commentary, and I miss those days. So, but some people wouldn't know. Some people wouldn't know because they probably weren't watching then. Mike Bisping say Alex clearly won the first fight. He was clearly has one eye. Yeah. I think that one eye is showing there. What do you think about Alex being before his prime when he fought Izzy both times? I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I mean, I guess it is. He's definitely improved. But it's hard to say because I've only really paid attention to him in MMA. Other than the 2 Izzy fights. But I don't think Izzy was in his prime either. I think Izzy's got much better. What do you think about... Okay, Joey, do you think Reyes won against John or it was too close to call in your opinion? It was super close. Super close. Joey, I don't know how I'm reading the same message. One day people are going to look back and appreciate the level of engagement on this channel. I do my best, my friend. I do my best. Plot twist, we find Joey and Joe making elk jerk together. Yeah, me and Joe go way back anyway. Alex Pereira is older than Izzy. That is true. 2 years, I believe. It's all over. Yeah, everything is virtually identical as well. Mike Goldberg. If Chandler beats Poirier, is Islam versus Chandler a possible? It's not a super fight, bro. Super fight is champion versus champion. So no. No, 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 no. Stop calling fights that aren't super fights, okay? Have you been to a UFC event? I've been to quite a few. 3 to be exact. UFC 172, which was John Jones, Glover Teixeira. UFC 244, Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. And UFC in Washington, D.C., Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Alistair Overeem. Boom. They're the 3 I've been to. Yeah, people always bitching about not being able to read the comments. I'm going to try to read the comments for as long as I can. You know, sometimes I miss some here and there, but I try to read as many as I can, guys. So, if you're in here and you're not subscribed, go subscribe to the channel. We do nothing but complain and slander Joe Rogan's commentary here. So if you enjoy hearing Joe Rogan's commentary slandered ad nauseum, subscribe to the channel right this very second. Even though he's motivational, we still slander him. Kevin Holland liked to help people. You criticize him. Rose Namajunas is the nicest girl in the UFC. You criticize her. Now you trash Rogan. So I guess you don't like good people. I guess so. Yeah, I've never seen one in person either. My favorite Goldberg memory is when he said the fighter had the Michael Jordan, etc. with his grappling, and Joe Rogan just said no. I vaguely remember that. I would honestly take Izzy over Yuri if that super fight ever happened. Really, I'd pick Yuri to smash him. What's next for the Leech? I don't know. He should get a ranked opponent. Maybe he should fight Neil Magny again. I don't know. To be fair, Alex had way less kickboxing experience when he fought Izzy and took the rematch on short notice when he was injured. Fair enough. Fair enough. Carla saw Whaley lift up Francis and promptly shat her breakfast out in the form of a brick. Yeah, I wonder if Carla going into this fight knows she's going to get starched. Yeah. You don't like Joe Rogan even if he supports fighters? I don't like his commentary. F the GOAT commentary, Mike Goldberg. Yeah, I miss Mike Goldberg. Paulo Costa doesn't have a single win over a current UFC fighter on the roster. We actually discussed this earlier on the stream. But now that the stream's gone on for 2.5 hours, I can't believe it's been 2.5 hours, guys. It's pretty late. If you have not liked the stream yet, like the stream. I would like everyone to do me a quick favor and send a message in the chat. What's your least favorite thing about Joe Rogan's commentary? I would really enjoy that. I think there's some people in the chat that would enjoy that as well. What is your least favorite thing about Joe Rogan's commentary? Put it in the chat right this very second. Overeem was a freak. He was taking PEDs. It takes a lot of energy to be a rock star. Okay, I don't know what that means. Who has been getting screwed more than Jan or the Leech? Jan. Watch Carla KO Whaley. I would throw up. Thoughts on Reyes versus Span? I have a prediction video on the channel. I'm going Reyes via TKO. If Pereira KO'd Izzy is officially middleweight GOAT, or how many people have to beat to reach this status? No, he would not be GOAT yet. Homework hates his bald head. Is Volk the best boxer in the UFC considering he outboxed Max for 5 rounds? I don't think Max is the best boxer in the UFC. Speculation on injuries. That Joe acts like an expert in all forms of MMA. That's one of Goldberg's famous lines. To be fair, Alex had way less kickboxing experience when he fought Izzy and took the rematch. Fair enough. Joe Rogan talking about DMT or what's an NFT on the commentary is terrible. I think Joe Rogan's a terrible guy, so thus he is a terrible commentator. I don't think he's very motivational either. I don't think he's very motivational, in my personal opinion. But that's just my personal opinion. Some people may think differently, you know. You know how that goes. When he's about to interview him in the cage and he just looks like a retard. Hot take, Juliana Pena has the best striking in the UFC. That's something Joe Rogan would say on commentary. Joe hyping up Ronda. I think that's one of his most embarrassing moments in the entire commentary lifetime of Rogan in the UFC relationship. Least favorite thing is his biased commentary, such as when Izzy's fighting Jan. Also, he seems like he gets plenty of takes wrong and switches opinion based on what Anik and DC say. Definitely very biased at times. Yes, since when he does being a nice qualify you for a job? I've never heard of that qualification. I mean, I guess if you're working towards a customer, facing environment, I guess it would make sense. So, would it be crazy if Alex beats Izzy, then become a 2-division champ in MMA as well? Would it be crazy if Alex beats Izzy, then that would be insanity if he could go up and beat Yuri? Pena should fight Holly next. I agree. Joe's biased commentary not as bad as DC scoring fights though. When they doing 5 judges instead of 3? It's not in the works, but they should do it. Joe said Ronda was the GOAT. Laughing faces. Yeah, Joe's had a couple of bad takes, but I don't even blame him too much for those. It's more or less the really bad commentary nowadays. I don't even think he pays attention to the sport. He just says stuff that is out of touch with reality. Another thing Joe Rogan does is he starts narratives that never end, like the Charles Oliveira glove grab with the Dustin Poirier stuff. He never even grabbed the glove, and people are still talking about it to this day. I have a feeling the commentary is going to be awful for the Izzy Alex fight. I mean, if Rogan's there, it's going to be awful regardless. Should Kamaru go up to 205 if he beats Leon in the trilogy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He gets starts at 205. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit anymore. That's Joe Rogan's worst trait. Damn, I waited to respond to that dude who said you're wasting your time on here. I don't even know why that actually got, I don't even know what happened with that one. Let me see. Somehow that got flagged and deleted. But that was fine. If somebody took that down, that could be left up. I don't care about that. Are you married? And if so, what does your wife think about you wasting your time on here? Doesn't care. It's all good. How would Usman versus Pereira go? Pereira would starch Usman most likely. But Usman has the wrestling ability, so who knows? So go ahead and still respond, Homework. I'm sure deep down he cares, but he has too much money and things going on. Agreed. He loves calling people the GOAT after they get one title defense or pound for pound #1. You don't think Joe is motivational? Are you kidding me? Go look at his podcast. All the guy does for years. Yeah, I don't think he's motivational, Mike, and you can't convince me otherwise. He's not motivational at all. What does your family think about you doing this all night? Why would my family care? I live in a house with just my fiance, and I mind my own business, and this is what I do for fun. And it's not all night. An hour and a half to 2 hours, a couple nights a week isn't really a big deal. I mean, I'm sure my family who doesn't live with me, they're pissed. I mean, how dare this guy, talk to a community of MMA fans? I think they're going to disown me, even though they don't live with me. Um, do 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 do. We don't need messages like this. What is the most recent fight you could speculate being fixed? I have no idea. Um, do do do. What is Gus versus Oven St. Preux? Who you got? I don't know. Gus has fallen off. Um, the secret to the life on it. Yeah, sells cockamamie schemes. That guy is on here too. What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't even know what we're talking about. People are just sending weird shit in the chat. They're just if you're sending weird shit in the chat, you're getting timed out. If you really want to say something weird, you got to send it with a donation, okay? And then I'll read it aloud for you. But if you're just sending weird shit in the chat that makes no sense, that isn't even worth reading multiple times, you're getting timed out. So, adios to some of you guys. Go cry somewhere. I'm going to post this in the chat real quick. Is this Gus's last fight? I damn sure hope so. But probably not. Probably not. It's probably not going to be his last fight. So he'll probably fight on. I can't believe how bad he did in his last fight. Who was that against? Was that Nikita Krylov? Alex Sander Gustafsson. Was it Nikita Krylov that he got finished against? I thought he was going to win that fight, too. I picked him to win. Dude, he's lost 4 in a row. That's bad. That's really bad. Thoughts on Reyes versus Spann? I got Reyes. I think he's better everywhere, but Spann can definitely knock him out. 281 is a deep card with lots of good fights. I didn't realize until watching your videos. It is a very deep card, for sure. Colby versus Usman 245 was desk fixed. If you're looking at the beginning, Mark Connor, it's not fixed, dude. Come on now. Come off it. Oh, yeah, Gus got cleaned up. I remember that. Yeah, I picked him in that fight, too. He's lost 4 in a row. He hasn't won a fight since, I think, TKO and Glover Teixeira. So, it's pretty crazy. John Jones' curse got all the guys besides DC. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. The John Jones curse is real. The John Jones curse is a very, very real. Look what happened to Dominic Reyes. Look what happened to Gustafsson. Look what happened to Thiago Santos. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's insanity that the John Jones curse really is real. I wanted to make a video about that at some point. Maybe one day I will. So, John's never coming back to 205 ever. Ever, ever, ever. But who knows? Who knows? He's not fighting at heavyweight either, it seems. I'm really hoping at some point in the next 2 months we get John Jones, Francis Ngannou announced for the heavyweight title. But I don't think John is ever coming back to 205. Glover still became champ after John. That's still crazy. Glover at an old age be able to win the belt, and he's still in a title fight in his next fight, which is straight up insanity. Straight up insanity. So we'll see what happens in the Glover rematch at UFC 282, which is next month. I'm going to X out some of these tabs. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Don't need this open anymore, I don't think. No, I don't. I shouldn't need that. Guys, it is getting late. If you have any final questions, throw them in the chat. If you have not liked the stream yet, like the stream. If you're not subscribed, subscribe right this very second. And also, if you really want to support the channel, I want you to type in the chat, Joe Rogan is not motivational. If you really want to be a supporter, I want you to type that in the chat right this very second. I have no doubt in John versus Ngannou will be 285 in Las Vegas. That's what I'm thinking. That is crazy about Glover. I know that's a good idea. Do you think John will still be champ? I think it's possible. Mr. Joey, who's your favorite female fighter? Weili Zhang. I'm going to meet Michael Chandler at UFC 276, and he thought my brother was trying to pull a gun on him, but he was a really nice guy. That's awesome. What did Colby do? I have no idea. Joe Rogan is not motivational. There you go. The chat has spoken. The chat has spoken, guys. Yeah, I agree with you guys 100%. Joe Rogan is not motivational at all. Apparently Bitsy disagrees. I, I just imagine Mike right now balling his fist up in a rage of fury, just pissed as hell. Like, how dare you? How dare you? That's hilarious for real. I mean, seriously, absolutely hilarious. Um, Mr. Joey, you should give Joe Rogan motivational tips. Joe's lost it. Rogan needs to be more motivational. What are your thoughts on standing? What do you mean? Joe Rogan, my boy, the GOAT, motivational. AF, shut up. Joe Rogan's not hurt and doesn't have an injury. Yeah, I think the reason Joe Rogan's not motivational is because the way he's holding that right hand, I think he might have broken his hand in the first round. I think that's might be what it is, and I think he's in real trouble here, so he really doesn't have an opportunity to be motivational. I think that's it. Um, I hate how the UFC comment streams all just say "Rip Joe Rogan." How did that even start? Truth is, he has no courage to be good commentary anymore. He's Dana's bro, and gets paid hella just to sit there. Agreed. LOL. I think Izzy injured his right hand. Yeah. That Joe, he's not a bad guy, but he just needs to be more motivational. Yeah. The way he's holding his hand must be broken. Yeah, I think that's why he's not motivational. What a last half hour, 45 minutes of the stream. This is a good one. I wonder how many people are going to enjoy this one on rewatch. I wonder how many people are going to enjoy this one on rewatch. I'll leave this one up. Guys, I need you to do me a massive favor, okay? Listen to me. A massive favor. I'm expecting you guys to do this, okay? I need you guys to do this. Apparently, because I've released like 7 videos, nobody has watched this video. Basically, nobody. Frank Yeager, Chris Gutierrez video. Go watch this, comment on it, and like it. I need you to watch it, comment on it, and like it. Boost it in the algorithm because now I've released like 12 videos in 24 hours. The algorithm's all messed up. I will have 2 more videos tomorrow. Carla Esparza versus Weili Zhang prediction and Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira prediction. So please go watch the video I just linked in the chat. That's the only prediction video that hasn't been doing particularly well. Watch it all the way to the end, like it, and comment on it. Boost it, and thank you guys so much. I appreciate it very, very much. I'm going to be streaming a bunch of times throughout the week. Bare minimum, I'll be back Wednesday. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow. I don't know. But I'll be streaming definitely on Wednesday and Friday of this week. So thank you guys all for joining me. Like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Go watch that Frank Yeager, Chris Gutierrez video along with the rest of the UFC 281 playlist. And be on the lookout for Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira prediction. It will be out tomorrow. Thank you guys and good night. By the way, Joe Rogan's not motivational.